Welcome, House of HuCards, a TurboGrafx podcast. I believe this is episode 4. Saru's got his gunhead hat on. I'm loving it. DJC, you're all branded up over there. I have no idea
what you're... I'm branded up here. I was looking for where I put my Airzone hoodie, and then I was like, I give up. It's somewhere.
Man. Well, maybe next time. But, yeah. Yeah, I like the... where'd you get an Airzone hoodie? Did you have to custom make that, or what?
Oh, years ago from like Redbubble or something, some designer was making all this different turbo stuff, and that's where
are you talking? I think Danmaku Man, right? Is that the artist?
That could be. That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Because I know what hoodie. It's a dope hoodie.
Yeah, and then I have another a T-shirt that has the split where he's the half cyborg, but it's like I don't know where they got it. I don't know if it came from the Japan screenshot or if it was on one of the other boxes. But it doesn't have any logos. It's literally just him, and it's kind of like showing the insides. It's sweet. It's really sweet.
Nice.
Okay, cool. I've heard kind of mixed opinions on Redbubble, like in total, like just in terms of the quality control. You find it to be okay?
Yeah, I haven't. That was years ago. Now I just I make my own stuff off of like Vista print. They're cheap.
Oh.
They're usually their numbers change depending on the deal they get, but usually I can make a shirt for $12 to $14, anything I want, and it ships in like a week. So
I didn't know you could do shirts on Vistaprint. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, you can pretty much make anything you want. They don't really do any type of check. You know what? I should probably...
I associate Vistaprint with business cards and like
banners and stuff,
Yeah.
Yep.
But so we are on episode 4 of this show now, and I'm joined, of course, by Saru Maru here and DJC, and of course, I'm your host, Johnny Grafx, and today we're going to be talking about a rather large list of games. I didn't think it was quite this large until I put the list together, but at that point it was too late, so I'd already decided to do it. We're going to be talking about the platformers, and just to keep the list a little bit shorter, we're just going to focus on TurboGrafx this time, and maybe we can do like a specific PC Engine version of this down the road. That might be fun. Yeah. But I do think we can include, there's a couple CD games that I felt like qualified, so I threw them in as well. This is mostly just really just Western games focused.
Yeah, I'm happy with this list. There's a lot of good stuff on here.
Yeah, and that's something that Chuck pointed out a little earlier is that there's so many of these that are like top tier. So we'll do our best to make sure it's not just like all S and like 2 C's or something, But for the most part, we're going to be honest here. Legendary Axe 2, I actually kind of debated the Legendary Axe games for a minute, but at the end of the day, I think they are platformers. It's fair to say
they are. They're classic too.
Yeah, they're action platformers. They're not like Mario or Sonic the Hedgehog necessarily, but they are definitely in that group. I would say.
Would you consider Dash a platformer, or is that more RPG action RPG?
It's probably more. Yeah, I would say it's more action RPG.
Which game?
DJC for sure.
Which game?
Kadash.
Oh, yeah. I thought about Kadash too, but like you said, I think it's a little more... It's kind of like Splatterhouse, where it's like there's platforming in it, I guess, but I wouldn't call it a platformer, Kind of like...
having some Splatterhouse issues.
Similar to how like Contra has shooting in it, but I wouldn't call it like a shmup, right?
That's true, right. Or, an action game, more of a run and gun.
Yeah, run and gun, I guess, is what you'd call it. And Miku is just...
the DJC is right on Kadash. I agree with him on that being an action RPG, 100%.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of story, too, and it's which makes the charm of that, too. It is just the whole story and all the people you have to talk to. So, but yeah, there is a ton of crazy platforming, too.
Right. Yeah,
and it's not some broken platforming.
Yeah, there's especially that first
Summer Assault. Think about Summer Assault. That's like a weird kind of
that one
platformer crawler. Whatever
I don't know what the hell you call. Yeah, that one didn't even occur to me. But that I guess you could. I would maybe call it a run and gun. I guess sort of like Contra. I guess if I'm really.
I don't even know because. It's not even platformer in the traditional sense,
right.
Because you can't, it's not like you're like jumping from one platform to another. You have to be connected to whatever wall. I mean, you can jump between very narrow pathways.
Yeah, if they're like close together, you can go from one to the other if they're close. So.
Yeah, if they're like 32 pixels apart.
Yeah, like you could argue
most games are. Yeah, I don't know. I would feel reluctant to add that as a
Exactly, yeah. And the list
action
was already so
platformer.
long, so I was just kind of like, okay, if I'm on the fence about it, then I'm just going to leave it off because the list is already so
I love
long.
that game though. It's a good game. It's fun.
It is. I actually bought, I had to replace a copy of it, which was not fun to do, monetarily speaking, but I did it. It got done. Thank God. eBay is hell or heaven. It's just what you make of it, I think. If you have patience and you're just, you can save searches too, so you can get like notifications when certain games pop up. So if you're like really looking for one, like right now, I'm looking to potentially upgrade my Shockman because my Shockman's pretty rough. But so I have that one saved.
We have Shock. See, I just picked up. I was messing with my camera because it started flickering, so I just switched to a different one to not have issues.
Okay. I think that one actually looks better anyway.
Yeah, it looks good.
I just picked up. I'm starting small. Like I said, I only do inbox if I'm going to collect. But I got taking it to the hoop. Everybody's favorite basketball game.
Everyone's favorite. Move over, NBA Jam.
TV sports hockey. I can't remember if I picked this up last time, or last time I was on the show. But then I got TV sports basketball. So I'm going to get like the Sonic Spikes. Then we're going to move up to King of Casino. And then we'll start getting into the $100 games every other month or so. And I want to try to collect at least once a month, pick up something, and slowly build this. And I know it's going to get expensive.
Yeah. I mean, you could just...
Yeah, all in box?
Do it.
Yeah.
I believe in it.
Those cardboard boxes elevate the price significantly.
Mm-hmm.
Significantly. Although it is really cool to have them. Even though I'm not generally a fan of the cardboard, like I don't like the Sega Genesis cardboard boxes, and I don't care about Super Nintendo cardboard boxes, but for some reason Turbo ones are kind of cool. So I don't know. I guess I'm just inconsistent in that way.
Speaking of cool, I can't wait to
Ooh, that's a fun one.
Favorite.
Yeah, that you get red pickups like give you more life, and blue ones give you very little, and then yellow ones take your life away. It's like, what the heck is this? Like
that's always fun when you're scrambling around and accidentally bring yourself down to one mark.
Yeah, and there's some funky platforming in there too. There's some moments where it's like, what the hell? Come on.
Or that flying portion is kind of ass.
Yeah, or a little bit.
Your hitbox is like way big. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I hate that too.
So huge.
Yeah, the hazards seem like they're designed for a much smaller character to get through them. Yeah, but you're like,
it's a charming game though.
Yeah, I'm glad that I own it. I
like how the Turbo one is different too than the arcade. Like they went with like a cutesy, like cartoony style versus the more serious arcade look.
Almost
way
like
cooler
chibi
looking, to be honest. And because I remember, like I got this game first. Like I went to Toys R Us, picked it up, loved it, and then later on, just starting the YouTube channel and doing all this other stuff, I started playing some MAME stuff, and I saw Tiger Road. I'm like, whoa, I've never played the Tiger Road arcade, and I was a little disappointed.
It's significantly
it's kind of ugly, right? Like when you compare, or I guess if you get used to one or the other,
cartoony look to it, I like.
Yeah. I agree. They both exist. That's what's weird. Like you could have one or the other, but both of them existing is what makes it weird. Now I saw. Speaking of weird arcade versions, was there not a weird Bonk's Adventure arcade version that popped up?
There was. Yeah, it was super weird.
What the heck is that?
You collect your smileys on your head, like a stack of smileys, which I never understood.
It's super odd. It looks graphically very nice, but the gameplay is kind of booty.
Yeah, was that before the Turbo version, or?
No, that was after. I think Hudson delegated it to Kaneko, and I think Kaneko was the developer.
Okay.
And I don't know, it's bonkers weird.
Yeah, well, fitting, I suppose.
It's not one I would want.
Yeah, no.
That would be a good topic for the show, actually, is like talking about like turbo versions versus arcade versions.
Sure. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. There's a lot of those, because a lot of the games are arcade ports, right? So.
Yep.
Now, the next one I want to do, I'm really kind of excited about this. We're going to have on a guy named Breakman X, and we're going to talk about IRAM games. I think that'll be fun. But
nice.
Anyway, before we get into that, I do want to talk a little bit about, Saru Maru, you were at Game On, this big convention.
Yes, sir.
Which, I've always known about, but I wasn't aware of the scope of this thing. This is a big convention. You want to just kind of talk about how that went a little bit and
sure.
if you saw anything interesting?
Okay, well, I don't know if you know who runs Game On, but it's run by John Lester, Gamester81.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know
And
him. Yeah.
Very cool.
yeah,
Very cool.
and it's a cool show. It's been going on they just celebrated their 10th anniversary this last show. Uh, and they always get a ton of guests too. Like you'll
That's
see
cool.
a lot of other YouTube people always show up. We were there. I didn't get the chance to actually roam around the convention too much because we had a table, and man, we were busy. Like people were constantly at the table, so I didn't really get to do a whole lot of mingling on the convention floor until like after stuff closed, and then I went to go and talk to people. But it's a great show. It focuses on a lot. It used to be only retro gaming, but now it's retro gaming. Wrestling has a big presence. This year, skating had a big presence. Tony Hawk was there.
Okay.
Animation, all kinds of pop culture. Think of it as like a retro pop culture show, right? So like you got like, fans of when wrestling was WWF, the Mortal Kombat people, they're always there every single year, which is awesome.
The edgy
They do
era.
the Tetris. Yeah, right. They do the Tetris championships there as well, which is cool, which is run by Chris Tang, who is awesome. It's just a cool show. I got to do a panel there about game dev with two other game devs.
Yeah, I caught some of that.
Which I
That
got
was
to do
cool.
last year. Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great show. I highly recommend it if you're in the Arizona area or you're able to get there. Like maybe next year, we can get an appearance by Johnny Grafx. That would be awesome. It's a great show. I recommend it.
It did occur to me that maybe I could get my ducks in a row and come out next year, and if I could steal you away for maybe 40 minutes or so, we could do an in-person episode of the show. That might be kind of fun.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
And
We can probably set up a panel. I can talk to.
Or yeah, that'd be great.
I can talk to the panel people there, and we can set up a panel for House of HuCards actually, and do a live one.
I'd love that.
That would be awesome.
We could stream it too. Like we could go.
Dude, let's plan for it.
We could go against my better judgment and actually stream it live.
Do it live.
Yeah, I mean. It'll be, a lot of trial and error because we actually had technical difficulties and we weren't even live, right? We just had, audio and video, and people had to come and like hook shit up. And last year we did it, it was fine, seamless, smooth, everything was connected. This year, not so much. And that has to do with probably whoever was in the room before us, right? Like who knows what they did or what they unplugged.
I mean,
or whatever.
with something like that, if it goes off without a hitch and no issues, I would consider that the exception, not the rule, right? With something like you just
right.
expect stuff to go.
You just gotta expect something, but
yeah,
that would be awesome, man. If you come out or do a live show from Game On, that would be amazing.
God, I wonder if they'd fly me out because I really don't want to pay for that. I
mean. Maybe your channel is, has surpassed the 10K mark.
No, I'm at 8. I'm
right?
at 8.5 or something.
Oh, okay. Well, it'll for sure surpass that.
I might be 10 by then.
Before the next. Yeah, I think you will with the content you're putting out. People are watching. Yeah, for sure. And then just shoot them an email and be like, "Hey, I've got a YouTube channel and I do stuff." Because like with those kinds of things, you just gotta throw yourself out there. You know? Like I drove there because I'm close by. I live in Las Vegas and it's in Phoenix. Okay. So I drove there and they gave me a space and I'm like, shit, yeah, I'll drive out there.
Yeah, let's go.
But give it a shot.
Doesn't hurt. I'm going to the Pittsburgh Gaming Expo here in not my neck of the woods, more or less. It's about 2 hours away, but the eastern part of the country. And so they're having me, they're putting me up in a hotel room and stuff. So that's kind of cool. It doesn't really.
Oh, nice.
Other than the gas, and they're feeding me and stuff. So there really won't be much expense associated with it. So that'll be kind of cool. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited about
another one that's closer to your neck of the woods too that you might want to consider is Midwest Gaming Classic. I've been to that one many, many times, and I'm hoping that next year it's not at the same time as Game On, because this year I was actually gonna return for the first time since COVID. I was going every year. That's where we actually debuted FX Unit Yuki, was at the Midwest Gaming Classic.
Oh.
And I've been going every single year until COVID. And then since COVID, I haven't been back. And because they had moved Game On now to a very similar time frame. And this year, Game On and Midwest Gaming Classic were on the same exact weekend, which is like,
yeah,
frick, you know what I mean? That makes it hard.
I wonder if it'll be that way.
It's another good one.
Hopefully it won't be that way going forward. You don't have to choose between them like that.
Hopefully, but an amazing show. That one is 100% retro-centric too. So it's
Cool.
like they have a turbo room and everything.
Ooh, nice. I like that.
Yeah, so if you guys are TurboGrafx fans, they have it's called the Turbo Fest room, and they do it every year, and they've been doing it since, I don't know, 2010 or something.
That's
Cool.
Midwest Gaming, you're saying.
Yep, Midwest Gaming Classic. MGC, dude, hit it up. The Turbo Room is awesome. I'm praying that next year it's going to be on a different weekend than Game On, so that I can finally get to go back. It's a cool show.
Yeah.
Super retrocentric. The Turbo Room is full of awesome people too, and it's just cool, man. If you guys can make it out to either MGC or Game On or both, I highly recommend.
I've been really trying to go to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo.
Oh, that's another good one too.
YouTubers, because I'm also a huge Intellivision fan, and the homebrew scene for Intellivision and all the vendors there are amazing. Plus you always want to walk around and see what Turbo and PC Engine games are there.
Yeah,
too, as well.
Dude, MGC's got a lot of Intellivision people there too, by the way. So
yeah, that's why
put that one on your calendar. Yeah, for sure. If you're into Intellivision stuff, definitely think about MGC, because that's probably closer to your neck of the woods too, and it's an amazing show. Amazing show.
Where are you at, Chuck? Are you up in Michigan?
I'm in Detroit, just north of Detroit, but yeah, I'm in Michigan.
You're a Michigander.
So, anything Midwestern, Ohio, Indiana, stuff like that is St. Louis, anything down there. Heck, I'll even go to Nashville, because I love going to Nashville. So that would work too. Anything in that whole straight down from my state,
Cool. Yeah.
But I also have fam and friends out in California, because I used to live out there for about 7 years or so back in my 20s, and so
nice.
If I ever go out, if I plan it to go while there's conventions on that side of town, like the Arizona, Vegas, Portland stuff on that side of the country, then I can maybe time it to visit California and then go to the convention. So
that'd be the way to do it.
Might be, especially for Portland, because it's so far out there from me.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, well, maybe you should come down to the Pittsburgh Gaming Expo if that's not too far for you. That might be kind of far for I don't know. But
that's not too far. I've been down there I went there for a couple conventions before. I've never been to that, though.
Yeah, Mark Bussler tends to come out to that one. He lives in Pittsburgh, so it's just right in his backyard. And it's always cool to see him, even though he definitely has a chip on his shoulder about, how I guess his second and third revival of his channel didn't really work super well. But great guy, fun to hang out with and play arcade games with and stuff. And a few other folks come out as well. But yeah, I'll definitely be out there this year, and maybe next year that might just be like my home convention, honestly, because I love any excuse to go to Pittsburgh and screw around is cool with me. I love that city. Anyway, so let's go around and just check in with everybody. How's everybody doing? What have you been playing? Let's start with you, Chuck. It's been a while since you've been on the show. How have you been? What have you been playing lately? Et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I recently finally got my EverDrive Pro, so I've been going nuts on CD games.
Nice.
I've been playing a lot of Gate of Thunder, Lords of Thunder, which I'm terrible at, but I don't care. I freaking love it. I'm getting better. Some of these games I haven't played in so long, since I had them as a teenager, so I'm starting to really get back into it. But I'm very proud that I finally beat Legendary Axe 2. So
nice.
Finally, I beat it on stream, and I was so excited when I finally beat this big demon dude.
King Drotum?
On the back of the box, because I'd never seen him before, and it took me quite a few times, but I was that. Now, there's a little twist at the end. Spoiler alert, after a million years, right?
No spoiler.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
It was a really, really cool ending. I think that was definitely worth it. Before that, I was playing a lot of Ninja Spirit, and which I've beaten before, but I never beaten recently in my older age. So I did that and finally beat that again. So that was kind of fun. I'm really loving to just revisit a lot of Turbo stuff. Of course, I'm playing a lot of Intellivision homebrews and space shooters, and I beat a couple of those as well, which. It's always fun to just play a game that you think, I'm never going to beat this. It's so hard, but then you just keep coming back to it.
Mm-hmm.
FX Unit Yuki is the next one that I've been.
Nice.
I played it the first time, got far into the cave scene.
Thank you.
I'm loving it. And then today I played it, and then I just kept I kept falling off by those bees in the friggin' Adventure Island thing.
Everyone hates the bees.
I have to come back. I'm gonna rage quit right now, but I will come back. But that is such a beautiful, beautiful game. The story and the cutscenes and I'm sold on it.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
It was weird. It was on the EverDrive when I got it.
And sorry it's so hard.
No, I love, but that's what brings me back to these games is I love a challenge and I love super hard games. Like, I'm terrible at R-Type, terrible at Lords of Thunder.
Oh, you and me both.
Are they beautiful to play?
Same.
Are they they're amazing to come back to. Hellfire, another one that I'm terrible at, but I love the way that looks.
Hellfire is really hard.
That soundtrack though,
it's such a good time to just play Turbo and Intellivision's my other one, but the Turbo stuff I'm just slowly going through the games I've never beaten. Tiger Road, another one I've never beaten, but I've gotten fairly halfway through. But
it's hard though.
It's super hard and frustrating.
Yeah, it's hard.
Got a little jank to contend with in that game as well.
Yep.
But yeah, that's interesting. Man, FX Unit Yuki is such an ambitious title. Like I was every time I've dipped my toe into that, I'm shocked that that was your first game, really, right? I mean, at least your first big one. And it's came together pretty well. I mean, it's ambitious. Like, I've got a couple ideas for games that I'm low key sort of working on in the background, but I've scaled it back and back and back repeatedly, and it's actually probably for the better. But it's just like the scope of everything you accomplished in that FX Unit game is it's impressive. Just from a developer
and I'm just
standpoint.
starting into it too, because like I love because you see, like, it's like the practice. I call, like, the first two parts like the practice. You're just the first part of stage one, and then you get into that cave and the freaking graphics and the lava, and I'm like, oh my god, and the music, dude.
The music's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the music is one thing people are always loving about it. It's one of the best aspects of it.
Such a great
music.
Right, which is
that guy did a crazy good job.
And the dialogue's funny. I like the dialogue between the characters. It's funny. It's like genuinely funny.
I really like that.
So yeah, DJ, what have you been playing? What have you been up to? I didn't mean to cut you off, Chuck, if you were done or not. It sounded like you were.
Oh, no, go ahead. That's pretty much it. A lot of TurboGrafx, a lot of Intellivision. That's usually my life daily. So.
Got it. Yeah. Hey, can't go wrong with that. Yeah, the Intellivision's an interesting. There's some games I've seen footage of on that system. Some of which I saw from your stream, where it's like, that's on the Intellivision. Like, that looks great.
He did. There's one guy, and he put out a free ROM on Atari Age. I believe it's still there, maybe. But they ported Super Mario Brothers, and it plays perfect on the Intellivision.
Yeah.
And you slightly graphically different, but not far off. Like, it's really insane that's crazy. System built in '79, and then someone ported Castlevania, the first one, the NES version, to there. And I was fortunate to get one of the collector complete in box versions of that.
Ooh, nice.
Epically beautiful. And they keep doing stuff like that. And I love the simple space shooters on that platform, but not to get it all into Intellivision. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of the space games, getting some of these space titles that I haven't played yet, like Deep Zone, and they just did a Time Pilot version, like a souped up version of that. And I'm so into space shooters on the retro stuff, but when it comes, well, I guess I should say for Turbo is their shooters are pretty
retro.
Yeah.
But platforming as well, which we're talking about today, is one on the TurboGrafx PC Engine. There's a lot of those too, and there's a lot of good ones. Anyway,
it amazes me how dedicated the Intellivision homebrew community is. Right, like,
oh yeah,
they're pumping out like new stuff, and it's like impressive. Like, you're like, damn, this console could do that. Like, they push it to the limit. You know what I mean? Like, you saw games like from its era, and the new stuff's like crazy.
There's a game by Electro Knight. Do I have here? And this company, they do like they manufacture games stills. That's what's so crazy. There's 3-4 big companies still doing it. Called Anthropomorphic Force.
Jesus.
And it is a shooter with giant bosses and just.
Oh, I've seen that one
on a Nintendo.
Yeah, I've seen that big green spider. I've seen it walking, like the walking animation is crazy.
Yeah, it's so crazy. And then I finally beat this after like a year, It is extremely, and I'm talking rage quit a million times hard. But it brings you back. You go, okay, today I can beat that, and
cool.
So yeah, I get into those. The homebrews are just I've been meaning to drop a video on just the ones that absolutely push the limits beyond, like that for a console developed in '78, test marketed in '79.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, crazy to think.
There's over 200 plus homebrews. That's more than the original library.
Is that an 8-bit console? Is it categorized as 8-bit?
It was a 16-bit processor, believe it or not, but not graphically.
Oh, wow.
Not graphically at all. But inside was a 16-bit CPU or however that is, but not graphically. But
interesting. So like the opposite of the PC Engine, which kind of would had a 16-bit GPU but 8-bit CPU.
CPU, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Isn't that nuts? Though it's just when you look back at these systems, I'm like, so was it the first? Everybody always wants to say it was the very first 16-bit video game system.
Might have been, I guess, in the late 70s. Jesus, it's like the 3DO of the 16-bit generation, kind of.
It could push almost 8-bit graphics, but just a little less. But it's got parallax, like a lot of these new games that they're making, parallax scrolling. I don't know how they do it. It's wizardry.
Might be animated tiles.
It's something.
I don't on the Intellivision. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think it was
on a lot of these really beautiful looking games. I mean, they make simple games still for it, but these like AF or Anthropomorphic Force, that is one I just go, I can't believe that runs on that machine. Like, I can't believe if that was there would still be an Intellivision a company going today if it made games like that back then,
Sure. Yeah.
Obviously the size of the RAM and everything's supposed to be 4K to 8K, you can only do so much, and you got 3 months or 4 months deadline to the holiday or release, and
the amount of data that is 8K is so I can't even fathom how small it is. It's so it's
right.
less than like a Word document is now, right? Like it's so small. They did so much with it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So DJ Sarmaro, how are you? What have you been playing?
I'm good, man. As far as what I'm playing, just a bunch of whatever I could play on stream. I haven't been playing any one thing in specific other than stuff I play on PC Engine Fridays, returning to a lot of classics, throwing in Gate of Thunder, gotta play Gate of Thunder. It's, just absolute classic. And then I've been messing around with the Analog Pocket too. And I ended up loading that with the PC Engine core and playing a bunch of PC Engine and Super Nintendo on that. I started playing a totally weird game, kind of like a chill game. It's called Ihatovo Story. It's like a SNES RPG that's got an English patch to it. And it's just kind of like there's no real battles in it. It's just like a story-driven game about a dude who was a poet who died and wrote a bunch of stories. And they based a lot of like different animes on it. Like, I don't know if you like Galaxy Express 999. I'm not sure if you've heard of that, but it's based on a story by this author. But pretty cool, really chill game. And some old stuff too. Like I got some of these Polymega like game collections. There was like asteroids and some other stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Let me show you really quick. They're kind of a weird type of thing where they're doing like these collections. Like this collection is like Tiger Heli.
Ooh, Tiger Heli.
And it's got like all the different versions of Tiger Heli on a collection.
Yeah.
And they do like this one Drift Out, but it's basically just a bunch of Visco stuff that Visco put out. And then they've got Karate Champ, which is a super old game, and probably DJC might be familiar with an Intellivision version of that. And then of course
really awesome.
Asteroids, which was on everything.
What platform is that you're holding there?
This is for the Polymega. They're making their own like software CDs.
That just go in like the disc model, the disc part?
Yep, they just go in the disc part, and they're just collections.
That's a good idea for them to maybe like open up another revenue stream there.
Yeah, they just made 4 more collections. I'm like, man, I need them. but I don't got the cashish for them right now.
Bro, if they would just sell that damn thing for less than $550, I would still be interested.
That's crazy. That's
3DO.
I get that. You know what I mean? Because I bought mine for like $250 because I bought it like early before they came out. They were doing like something, not $250, like $299.
Right.
Is what I paid.
You got in when you needed. You got in right there at the right time.
Right, but some people, the earliest backers, got it for $200. Granted,
wild.
They had to wait like 5 years before they got it, but still, $200. So after it went to market, that's when it went to $599 or $499 or whatever. Like I couldn't do that. Like I could not spend that much on like that's great. That's Neo Geo money right there. You know what I mean?
I mean that's PS5 money. Like
yeah.
It's Switch 2 money.
Switch 2 money, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I didn't even think about that. Switch 2 is gonna be freaking $500 too.
Like I can play Tears of the Kingdom on that damn thing,
Man, are y'all? I know this is we're a totally retro show, but are y'all interested in the Switch 2? Is any of you two getting it?
I'm not a Nintendo guy. I'm not the target audience, but I think at the end of the day, this happens every time Nintendo announces a console, by the way. If anybody has been around for a while, every time they announce something, everyone hates it for like 2 months. And then they launch it. They launch it and they all come out and buy the damn thing. So it'll be fine. Yep. I don't know. What do you think, Chuck? Maybe I'm off the mark there.
Well, so I was that way when the Wii came out. I looked at that and went, why? Stupid. That's and then what did it end becoming one of their biggest selling consoles of all time? And I enjoyed it after that once I played it, and got the understood what it was. It had nothing to do with graphical capabilities, and it was more fun and motion control and all that stuff. But I don't know. So I have a Switch. I got it. What do I play? Mostly a couple indie titles, remakes of Cotton and stuff, like stuff that I would have played on the Turbo.
There's a Valis collection on Switch.
Yeah, so it's really stuff that I don't see. Now, mind you, okay, I understand the Nintendo, I understand the fanboy mind. If I'm say this was a TurboGrafx or an Intellivision console, I would get every variant made. Right. I'd be like, oh, they're making another one. I got it. A first-day buyer here. Right. So I understand the people that go, this is awesome. I love it. Magnetic controllers, great, awesome. To me, as just a dabbler in the Nintendo Switch, just for like Super Blood Hockey, like I said, the Cotton remakes, some of a lot of the retro and indie titles or reimagined titles.
Yeah, a lot of good indie stuff on it.
Recently was the Ash vs. Evil Dead and Halloween.
Oh, nice.
It's all 16-bit stuff,
Yep.
That is not for me. It looks exactly like what I have. I don't see any benefit of having it, and it's not for me. But for the fanboys, I understand, because if it was one of the things I loved, like Turbo, it was an Intellivision accessory. Yeah, I'm first day buyer. I get it. Get it. So I don't want to rip on them for getting it, but I don't see much difference in the two, on that one and the one I have.
Not really. I'm gonna wait it out with this one. Like the first Switch, I did buy it on launch because there was like all kinds of cool shit that I wanted to play, but I don't feel like it's gonna have that impact with Switch 2. So I'm gonna wait it out for sure, especially at that price.
The thing about waiting it out, though, I don't know if that's going to yield any results for you, because they don't bring their prices down ever.
They don't. Yeah, Nintendo is tough like that. But I mean, look at getting a used one, maybe.
Wii U games still cost the same damn amount when they pretty much when they came out.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy.
So yeah, you might secondhand, or you can do that if you want. That's how my wife got. She got a Switch, and if she didn't get that, there wouldn't be one in the house. But she got one. True. And she got this like Animal Crossing variant. It's really cool, but because she got it secondhand, and the guy that sold it to us had the wrong cable with it. So I'm like, this is the shadiest shit I've ever done in my life. But anyway, so we bought that and got a pretty good deal on it, and she's played the hell out of it. She's more of a PC gamer now, but she played the hell out of it. And it's a cool system. Like you said, Chuck, like I'm happy for the fans, because it seems like on one hand, it's what everybody kind of wants. It's like a stronger Switch that can run the games a little better and maybe run some more ambitious games, and it still plays, it's got the same kind of form factor and everything. But on the other hand, it's very un-Nintendo, I feel, because like every Nintendo console is like a wildly different thing, I feel.
That's what I was looking for. Like if they would have came out with I don't even know, man. I don't even, just something completely out of the left field, just completely different.
Like the Wii was such a
remake of this.
Like the
Wii is a perfect example.
The N64.
I think they were playing it safe. You know what I mean? Because like the first
safe.
Switch printed money for them, so they were like, "All right, let's not change this shit too much, because then like people aren't gonna buy it or something." I think they were just playing it safe.
Yeah, which is
you're right. But going back to that, you're right. It's just the same thing. They're just going. But it's the first console they've ever done that is just like the previous.
Yeah.
Even the Wii U is different, even though it had the same name, which was not a good idea.
Right.
It was a good console. It was a good, thing with the screen and all that stuff, but it was...
Yeah, which was a cool gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they shouldn't have called it a Wii. They should have been a completely different name. I bet that thing would have sold way more.
Should have called it the Dolphin.
People thought it was an accessory to their Wii. Oh, I'll just get this. And why is it so much?
Yeah, it's weird because we're definitely heading into a territory where I think these modern console manufacturers they feel like, I don't think they actually are, but I think they feel like they're on very thin ice. And so I think you're gonna see a lot of safe decisions, maybe in perpetuity, maybe forever, for modern gaming consoles going forward. I think we're gonna see a lot of numbered consoles. We're gonna see a lot of iterative, very conservative changes. And I think that makes sense in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways, I'm going to miss that whimsy, especially from Nintendo. I'm going to miss that whimsical, like, here's a controller that makes no sense. Here's things nobody asked for. And
I feel like they'll do that again.
We'll see.
Right now, they're still riding hot with the Switch.
Yeah.
But I think the next one's going to be some crazy...
Maybe some AR stuff or something.
We'll see. Could be. Also, I apologize for this whole Switch sidebar thing.
It's okay.
I feel like I opened up a can of worms.
No, you're good. It's kind of interesting to talk modern. I don't do ever since I quit working with Gaming Bolt. I don't really talk modern stuff in it, but it's fun to do, and I think it's relevant because most retro gamers, like you said, we dabble in modern, Yeah. I mean, we just play games at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If Konami ever does, I don't know what they're doing because they always seem to sit on stuff a lot. But if they were to come out with a mini that played HuCards, that would be phenomenal.
Or something
that would be amazing.
Or at least some way for me to load ROMs into it with an SD card. Like if they could just get that.
Or like NFC or something, because like NFC is a big thing. They could have just done like a NFC tap, kind of thing or something.
Right.
And what's
anything,
NFC?
but
I'm like,
I don't know.
Not really, but
it would be enough though if they just re-released them. You know what I mean? Like they just made like that one batch, and they're like, "All right, have fun."
Yeah, it's like the Turbo itself is like a complete repeat of the same story, pretty much. It's like
why put in all that work to do it though? You know what I mean? Like why put in all of that work to do like brand new like molding? Get Hori to do like the peripherals. Get M2 to do the game programming and porting, and then they're just like, F it, whatever. It's like, wow, Konami, really?
Konami works in mysterious ways, man. They were. I will say though, to talk about maybe what I've been playing a little bit, the Silent Hill 2 remake, phenomenal.
Oh,
phenomenal. As a big Silent Hill, I'm relatively kind of a purist. I'm pretty picky about because there's a lot about the new Silent Hill games and that second movie they made. I tear those things up. But this remake of the second game is absolutely if you're going to remake the second game, which in my opinion you don't need to, but if you're going to do it, they nailed that. And that's probably more about Bloober Team's abilities than Konami's, but still, they nailed that. So, I'm looking forward to what Konami does with their modern stuff. But yeah, that's like that Turbo Mini was such an investment they did such a good job with it that they're just like,
they did.
Here it is, now it's gone.
So many little details, it was like a perfect mini, like and then M2 behind it was like major. And then they were just like, like
right.
They just let it die. So sad.
It was a great mini. A couple games obviously missing, some major games they really wish they would have.
Yeah,
for sure.
Legendary Axe needed to be on there.
Both Legendary Axes right there would have been. It would have felt more complete.
Yeah.
I mean, we could say a million games, but they didn't do too bad, But it was,
Manhole.
Those were two big missing games.
Manhole, no manhole,
No manhole,
no manhole, no money.
What's up with that?
That's what I say. That's my phrase. That's my catchphrase. So we're an hour into the show, so let's get into the point of it. Let's get into a little tier list here. All right, so Bonk's Adventure, which was always here, and I didn't have to add it in the middle of the show.
Not at all.
I'm tempted. Well, here's how I feel about Bonk's Adventure versus Bonk's Revenge, right? I feel like Bonk's Adventure has a little more character than Bonk's Revenge. The first one, when he dies, his eyes bug out. He foams at the mouth. There's like this kind of Ren and Stimpy almost kind of quality to it, where it's like this is almost like too much for for this sort of game, which I guess is sort of a Japanese sort of thing to do, and and I think the music might be slightly better. I don't know. I guess it's pretty close.
I'm a fan of the first one. I really am. I really like
too.
the first one.
But at the same time, I think Bonk's Revenge overall as a game probably a little bit better. There's more variety. The bosses are more different. The levels are more different. Music doesn't repeat as much. I don't know. So I'm tempted.
For me, Bonk's Revenge is like peak for me. Bonk.
Peak Bonk. Yeah, I would agree.
I love Adventure. Adventure is a great game, but for me is where like Bonk's Revenge was like. I was like, oh my god! Like it was, the music was good. I loved it. I loved it.
Game, but the first one is awesome too. So yeah, if you say A tier, I'd agree with that too.
I think A for Adventure and S for Revenge. Are we like
Revenge?
We're in simpatico on that? Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say S for Revenge for sure.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna stop moving this around. Okay, cool. So there's Bonk 1 and 2. I hate when people say Bonks 1 and Bonks 2. Like it's Bonk.
Yeah,
Bonk is the guy. It's a possessive S. Get it right. So Bonk 3. Where does that leave us with Bonk 3 then? Because Bonk 3.
Bonk's 3.
Bonk's 3. Yeah. Where does that leave us with Bonk's 3? The trilogy.
That's a E.
Bonk 3 Trinity.
Oh man, you went harsh on that one.
Oh come on.
Nah, I would say I would probably say
C. I would say C.
Yeah, I put it in D.
D,
personally.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Really?
I don't like the shrinking, getting big gimmick. I just
you don't like turning into a crab for no reason?
No, it makes no sense. The music isn't as good. The bonus stages are nonsensical. Like the bonus stages in 3 suck when you compare them to
the volleyball
to 2 or 1.
The volleyball thing is weird.
Most of them suck. And there's one bonus stage where it uses the whole gimmick like throughout the whole bonus stage, and it's like, ugh, this isn't fun. But
D seems, I don't know, seems harsh, but it's your opinion. It's fine. What do you think, Chuck? Where would you put it? And we'll come up to some sort of average between
I was going to say C. I would stick it at C, but now that we're talking about it, it's almost right in between C and D.
Like a C minus.
I did the crab and the shrinking. I don't like. I love the big bonk. Like that's my favorite thing about it. But a lot of rehash stuff, little annoyances, and in certain, like you said, the bonus stages. I'm going to be gracious and say C, but I guess you'd be the third to say.
So basically a C minus is what he's saying.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like you're saying.
I'm going with it.
And I think that's about where I'm at too.
I'd say it's a D plus for me.
Okay. Well, let's put it in C for now. If we end up like redefining what C means as we go along, maybe we'll move it down to D. But I think
that's true, because we'll also change perspectives once we start getting more of these on the board.
And I think we're all basically in agreement that it is slightly below average. It's not a particularly good game. I don't think it's a horrible game, but it's if C is average, which I think is more or less what I'm thinking C is, then it's a C minus. Maybe a D plus. I don't really have anything between C and D, but I think we're all largely in agreement on that. Okay. So
we'll say barely a C. How about that?
Yeah, it's a borderline C for sure. I think that's fair to say, which sucks because, the first 2 games were, truly outstanding.
So good. Yeah.
It's like the best part of Bonk 3 is when it's reminding me of Bonk's Revenge. But it's not as good as Bonk's Revenge. So if I want a good Bonk game, I'm just going to play Bonk's Revenge or Bonk's Adventure.
That's funny because it's even worse on the CD too. CD one is worse.
Yeah, you explained that to me. You explained why that was at one point. I don't remember, but it's like for some reason the CD is kind of weaker
missing
in a way.
frames and stuff. Yeah.
But the music's cool. It's kind of interesting to see the music go CD. Although I feel like bonk music needs to be chiptune. I feel like that's just more.
Yeah,
Hey, I agree. Yeah.
Better.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm a CD guy, but I agree wholeheartedly with that statement. I feel like bonk's music just sounds better in chiptune.
It's just,
and that's coming from a guy who's, it is exactly. You know, it's the whole identity. You play this on the Game Boy, and it still has that same feel too.
Yeah.
You know, or NES, it's got that same feel.
And it's not like you can't make another bonk game and still be good, because I would argue Super Bonk on the Super Nintendo, pretty good. That's up there with the other two.
I was just going to bring that up. That is not a bad game compared to Bonk.
Certainly
Bonk
better.
3.
Yeah, certainly better than Bonk 3.
Yes, better than Bonk 3 for sure.
Yeah, I would maybe put it on the B if we were including it, But B for Bonk. But in any case, and then there was that PS2 game which I haven't played yet, but I kind of want to. Or that was like, did the
It's just like a 3D rehash of it. You know?
Yeah.
Like they just made like Bonk and in polygons.
Look kind of cheap.
It's not bad.
Look kind of like a cheap little cash grab, which I don't know why you would make a cash grab with such an obscure game, but anyway.
Right?
It's like we're gonna scan those.
Hudson did it with all of those though.
Yeah, I think a lot of these old developers that are still hanging around kind of tried that, and most of it didn't work. And it's just like either make new shit or just re-release your old stuff. There's nothing wrong with either route, but don't like bastardize.
In Polygon.
Yeah, so we're seeing a little bit of.
Sorry, Dragon's Lair. That was a.
Oh, I didn't even mess with that one. So let's go to Bravo Man, which is way more of a. I don't know, more of a divisive title, perhaps, which I like. I think it's a Namco game, right? It's very Namco. And it's very weird. I find the weirdness and the funniness the main draw. Like, if it wasn't weird and funny, this would probably be like a D for me. But it's not a bad, it's like not a bad game, but just not a great game. I don't know. Where are you all on this?
That's a D for me.
Really? Okay. You don't like the...
Maybe it is harsh.
I'm going to say a D as well. Bravo.
You don't like... You don't like being assaulted with the same word over and over again?
Exactly.
Well,
it just makes it hard to play.
Yeah.
But the game itself is just kind of bad.
It's not great. I guess y'all are right. It's a below average. I'm very biased, and I won't let that affect me in this particular instance. In some instances it might. But I think you're probably right. It is a below average game.
It's Bravo, man. It's nothing too special.
I have a soft spot for it though, just because of how funny, like how much I laughed playing it. When you punch the telephone box and it says ow, it's just, I don't know. I love it. And I love hitting that guy who's your friend. And if you hit him enough, he won't come back. He'll leave the whole game. You won't see him again. It's like permadeath. But yeah. So I don't know. That scores points with me in a weird way. But I know objectively speaking, it's not a great game. But it is very TurboGrafx to me. It's very TurboGrafx coded. Like you wouldn't see anything like this on the Genesis or the NES or anything. So. Doesn't make it a better game, of course, though. So now a game that is pretty good overall, Dragon's Curse, aka Wonder Boy 3, I believe.
Yes.
This is one of those ones that they rebranded the hell out of, just thinking no one would ever find out. No one's ever going to know that it's really this other thing. This is perhaps the most egregious example of them doing that. But it's Wonder Boy 3, and it's a great game. It's a Metroidvania. You take different forms, you get different abilities, kind of like the Shantae games sort of have taken that torch, I think. But I don't know. What do you all think of this one? I'm tempted to give it an A, quite frankly.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's for me. That's an A, or at the very worst a B.
Yeah. I was gonna say B for that, but I could go with either one. It's not one that I play regularly, but the last time I played it, I'm learning a little bit more about it, but I never had it when I first got my Turbo, so maybe that's why. Obviously, that whole series, I get it. So I'd say B, but I wouldn't be opposed to an A as well because of it plays well.
It does, and it's also kind of a slow burn, which is uncharacteristic of a lot of 16-bit action games. That really, you really do need to, give it a 45 minutes or an hour or so before you really kind of
at least an hour.
Which is,
and once you get like towards the end, you're hooked.
Yeah, I would say once you get the first ability, once you get the first the different form, I forget which one comes first. It might be the mouse or whatever. But I'm getting it confused with Shantae because there's like elephants and mice and monkeys you can turn into.
Yeah, it's what is it? Dragon, mouse?
I think you're a dragon first, right?
Right. Yeah, you're a dragon at the beginning.
Lion.
Yeah.
I think it's.
But once you really start. Once it starts clicking and you're like, oh, now I can go here because I can do this. Once that really starts to click, which you could say about a lot of Metroidvanias, it gets substantially better. Not that it's bad to begin with, but you really see the special sauce when you do that. So let's put it in A, because I do feel like even though it's very different from a lot of the games that we're going to be putting in A, I do think it accomplishes what it sets out to do nearly flawlessly. It's not for everybody. But I think it accomplishes its goals. It's very deliberately what it is, and it's really no major flaws I can think of, other than maybe just the graphics being a little bit flat here and there, maybe. But in exchange for that, it runs really well. You don't get a lot of flickering or slowdown, like you do in something like Ninja Spirit or something, which is way more ambitious visually. So let's park that at A for now.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. And
I love it.
Legend of Hero Tonma. Here's one that I'm a little more conflicted about because
I'm S on this. I recently finally beat this as an adult again, and it's it's R-type difficult on a platform level.
Yes. Exactly.
It plays flawlessly. It's just you gotta be good. It's just unforgiving.
It is a get good game. Get good.
This one's a B for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a B, and not because I can think of any single thing I really don't like about it. There's just sort of
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
I just don't think it's an A game, but I like it. It's good.
Well, let's see.
It's a good game. It's a solid game.
Chuck says S, we say B, so let's stick it in A and let's give it that sort of average treatment.
Cool with that.
And because I think that's fair too. I think you could logically call it an A.
You guys go back to it, give it a chance. Once again, you're gonna have to spend some time, but it's something about. I love the music. I love the visuals. It never feels like the controls are cheap, but it's the onslaught,
right?
And the respawning,
and
the difficulty. Once you
it's a hard game.
I have to do this here and have to do this here. And you get past and far enough into it and know the routes to go to avoid the hits and avoid the respawns. And I love that game. And it's also one of those games back in the day where I never got a chance to get it. And then the early 2000s, when nothing was that expensive, I went to a resale shop that had records and video games, comic books, stuff like that. And they had the HuCard for $13.99 under the glass. I went, I'll take that. And eventually I sold it, which I shouldn't have done because it's done now.
No.
Yeah, it's expensive now.
Oh man. What? If I bought that for $13, what'd you sell it for?
Oh my God, I can't remember, but it was a lot. Whatever the going rate was for the time. I don't even know what it's going now. I know in box it's insane, but HuCard at least has to be $300 or something right now, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
That's something like that. But I think I sold it for, quadruple or more than I paid for it, so it didn't really matter.
Hey, so when you think about it, it's like... one never knows when these things are going to get so rare, too, right? Who knew?
Yeah. In my experience, anything that deals with, weeaboo shit or horror stuff, that stuff will get valuable. It just will. So you can count on those games. I love both of those things, but I'm just telling you, those you can absolutely guarantee those will get valuable. That maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but if you hold on to them, they will exponentially rise in value for sure. This is one that you wouldn't have expected perhaps to rise up like that because it is it's not super popular. It's not super talked about, but perhaps maybe that's part of why it's more obscure.
That could be part of the reason.
Sort of a hidden gem in my experience. That's how I looked at it always.
It is a hidden gem. I would agree with that. Actually, I think I put it in my Turbo Hidden Gem video. Actually, it's not my favorite hidden gem, but it is definitely one that's like no one ever talks about it, despite it being pretty good. Like it's very Irem.
A solid game.
It's very Irem.
I played the arcade afterwards too. There's actually an arcade version of that, and it's very like almost exactly like the PC Engine. Or Turbo. But they did a perfect job doing that game. It looks just like it.
It feels very arcade. It feels like they just took the arcade game and were like, okay, let's dial it back the exact amount that we need to in order to get it to run on the PC Engine, and basically leave it alone outside of that.
Quarter muncher. Yeah. Quarter muncher is what it was.
Quarter annihilator. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's very, Ninja Spirit's kind of the same way. It's like just constant onslaught, like you said. It's very Irem. Vigilantes, very Irem as well, kind of similar thing. Or just constant from both sides. Just they're always coming at you.
Yep.
But yeah, so I think I'm happy with it being at A though, even though it's missing a little bit of a special sauce. It's missing something. I don't know what it is, but it's very good. It's the takeaway from it is that it's very good. That's the primary takeaway. Okay, so let's move on to one that is not good. It's called Impossible. And as Chuck would say, impossible is impossible.
It's impossible.
Because you had some fun with it. The music is so ear splitting. Good God, that's my main problem with it.
It's so bad. It's one of those ones you go, really? This is what how to just get past the quality control or something,
I think this is like some Euro baby type game.
It does come off as Euro trash. It does come off as Euro. Like
controls are weird. Definitely an E for me.
E as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's an E. It's an E. All right, that's the end of that. We don't have to. There's not much left to say about it. I like the idea of like a mole character, because moles are super adorable and they're
cute, and too bad they mess it all up.
They're not given moles are not given their due. We need a good mole game, where you can dig and do mole stuff.
That would be cool.
But it's not this. Cool. It's not this damn game though. That's for sure.
You're giving me ideas. I'm gonna steal it.
Do it. Make him a little character in Nyanja. That's too late now. Nyanja's done. Maybe like a DLC add-on game. Add-on character.
Right, little mole character.
Yeah, just a little, or even just him. Just make it him. Who cares? Just redeem the impossible. So, Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu. Here's another one.
Yes, for me, this
is one that I don't see any. There's really no outward flaws with it, in my opinion. Maybe the range on his attacks is a little short. Sometimes feels a little janky, maybe. But otherwise, it's very good. What do you all think about this? I'm tempted to put it in A as well. What do you all think?
It's one of my favorite games. I would put it in an S because
I would say S.
I might be biased, but everything about this game is so good. The graphics are just super colorful. The music is fantastic.
Music's on point
for a HuCard game.
Yeah,
super good chiptunes. The game is long, but not too long that it doesn't outstay its welcome, And I just think it's the perfect package. And the bonus stages are super fun.
Yeah,
it's just overall a super fun game that is it's a great example of what you could do on a tiny little HuCard.
It is. It's a very well optimized game.
Great. For the time that it came out too. You got to consider also that this game came out at the same time as the NES one. So it's holy shit. Well, not here, but I mean, back in Japan, I think they came out at the same time.
The Famicom version, yeah.
Yeah, Famicom and this one came out, I think, at the same time.
And I've played that version. It's pretty good too, I think, from what I remember. It's,
I started with the NES version. So when this came out for the Turbo, and it had the updated graphics and the music, everything was just updated. I was because I loved the NES one so much, loved it. Never owned it, but I always rented it.
I think I have the ROM. I've messed around on the I've emulated it. Yeah, I don't have the ROM.
Yeah, I got a Famicom cart since because it was cheap, but back in the day, I never owned it. So when it came out for the TurboGrafx, I bought that sucker.
Oh yeah.
As soon as I could get it.
I have a really
Love
funny. This was a game that I didn't have growing up. Obviously, I couldn't get it as a teenager. This is one of the first ones to get like really rare, from what I noticed. And I just kind of, it was one that I was like, okay, I'll emulate it, I guess, but I'm never gonna want to pay $200 or whatever. And I had just one of these once in a lifetime moments. I was at a Goodwill at in my hometown in West Virginia, in the middle of Appalachia, and mixed in with all the Christian gospel music CDs was this game. And and it was $1.50, and I said, I'll take that. And
they had no idea.
They had no freaking. They didn't even open it up to check. They were just like, okay. And
Sure.
And what's funny was they also had a ZX Spectrum, and I bought that for like $15. And,
Nice.
And I think it worked, but I could never get it to like post. I couldn't get it to like show up on my TV. Maybe it's something about it being European, or I don't know. I tried to understand that system. I tried my best, but there was like so little. This was like in 2013 or something too, so there wasn't as much info.
What a rare find, though. You know what I mean?
It was a wild day. It's I never expect to see anything that crazy at a Goodwill in the middle of West Virginia. And I never really have again, but that was a day. That was my day. That was my, and I knew when I was having that experience, I was like, oh, this is a once in a lifetime thing.
Too many people are much too aware nowadays, with YouTube and stuff. So you don't get that kind of stuff anymore, sadly.
Even Goodwill themselves, I think.
Yeah, the employees themselves.
Yeah, like they'll see an NES game and they'll be like, "Oh, we're not going to put this on the store shelf. We're gonna."
Yeah, they know what it is.
We're going to do something else. We're going to put this behind glass and make a big deal about it. And it's like, it's like a Duck Hunt or something. So they overdo it. They overcompensate. Right. But where do you guys think this belongs? Do you think S?
I'm going to say S. Yeah,
I'm an S for that one for sure.
Okay. I think that's fair. Let's put it in S. There really isn't anything wrong with it. And like you said, all the extra stuff, the bonus levels are good. The music's like top tier music, I would argue. That the last couple of levels are they're serviceably challenging, but they're not impossible. You can get through it in one sitting if you really want to.
Mm-hmm. 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, for me, more like 90 minutes probably. But yeah, you could definitely do it. It can be done. All right. JJ and Jeff, or Kato and Ken-chan for people who may want the real version of it. That's...
I think right where you put it, a C might be.
I was just going to say that.
You think C?
I like it.
Not necessary to move it.
It's not a great controlling game. Like,
no.
It doesn't feel like you control really well. But
at all.
The gross out factor and the funniness of it is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's also just always mentioned anytime you're talking about TurboGrafx games. It's just one of those games, and I don't know. I'd say right there at C is probably good.
Yep.
No
need to move it.
I don't disagree, but I would say, just as an asterisk, I would say that kind of like how Bonk 3 is like a C minus, but not quite a D. I would say this is like a C plus, but maybe not quite a B. Is that fair to say?
Sorta, maybe.
I was kind of thinking C minus.
Really?
To be honest, but yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's not a bad. It's like, I don't know. So if it wasn't for like the charming aspect, like DJ Seed said, like the humor and gross out factor, like those are all things that add to the charm of the game.
Right.
This game is charming as fuck, right? But like the actual game, though, like there's not a game there. So it's like
sliding off of stuff when you try to jump.
Yeah,
it's so unfair.
Horrible.
One clarifying question, because this is what I've heard this opinion a lot about this game, is that the sliding is too much. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Have you guys played both characters? Because they slide different amounts.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
Oh, shit. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I always use the other guy. Whoever Ken-chan is in the US one, that's who I use.
The guy with the sunglasses slides way too much. The guy in the purple suit, right. The guy in the purple suit, he still slides, but it's way less. So does that...
I did not know that.
I may have to check it out again.
All right, y'all. See? No.
Fine, then maybe mid C then.
Okay, it doesn't move either way, but I just want to point that out.
Dude, even freaking Master Higgins, okay, Takahashi Meijin, the guy who Master Higgins is based off on Adventure Island, dude, even he hates this game.
Really?
And he's like a huge like Hudson advocate, and he was playing it. He's like, "Oh, this is just bad game," and he's the Hudson guy, and even he didn't like it, which says a lot.
Wow. Okay, fair enough. I'm in the minority on that. I'm fine with that. But it's not. We're not that far apart. I think it is a C. I just think it's a high C, whereas you guys think it's like a low C. But that's fine.
Yeah.
Now here's another game that's probably a C. I would argue is Keith Courage and Alpha Zones, which actually had sort of a neat little story to it that people don't realize. But there's like aliens under the earth and all this.
I kind of want to put that in B for me, and I know it's a weird phenomenon for me because like it was a game when I was like, this game fucking sucks. Like it came with the turbo, right? So you're like, like you didn't like it, but like over the years, I'm like, man, I found myself playing Keith Courage more than I thought I would ever, based on the impression that I had of it when I first got it, because it was the game that came free in the turbo. It was the throwaway game, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, I play it more. You had a grinding aspect with the money because you had to grind to get bombs and
you can grind and you
can
get like thousands and thousands of dollars if you just sit there and grind.
And you got to the
cats like respawns and you just get
yep, the gold spinning cats will drop the big money.
Oh yeah, you get a bunch of money with those. Yep.
And you get to the robot part where you're in the alpha suit or whatever, and like the game turns into a legit good game.
Yeah, it feels more like a real turbo game at that point.
Yeah, so like for me it's a B. Like if you had asked me like back in that time, I would have been like, oh, that shit's a D for sure. But like over the years, I feel like it's a B for me.
It ages well in a weird way, doesn't it? Chuck, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like,
I agree. I was gonna say B right away as well. And it's because it's the first experience you have, and so I have a lot of nostalgia for it. I hate always saying that, but it's true.
Yeah.
So I have a love for it because of that. But I remember getting my turbo for the first time, going, oh, I can't wait to show this off to my friends that have a Super Nintendo, my friend that has a Sega Genesis, and I went, oh boy, this is not the game. No.
Yeah, maybe not for that
underground level, like you said, with the suit and then the sword, and you're kind of going. It looked really cool, but no, I kept going. I should have picked up Legendary Axe. I should have gotten this. I should have gotten that. I think today it's a B.
Yeah.
Today it's a B. I wouldn't have thought that well of it, even though it was my first experience with TurboGrafx. So.
Yeah.
Yep. I think I'm with you all. I was originally thinking maybe this is another kind of like C+, but no, after like really thinking about it a little more critically and hearing you guys out, I think I'm with you. I think it's a B. But I would say, it's odd because I think if it weren't a pack-in and it were just another turbo game, I think people would probably like it more. Because that pressure, it sort of collapsed. It collapses under that pressure of being a pack-in.
The pack-in, yeah.
But if it wasn't a pack-in, it would be like just another like pretty good turbo game that isn't amazing, but is certainly far from bad. And
yeah.
So like you said, like Chuck, if you didn't have that experience of like, oh, I'm going to show it off. Oh, wait a minute, maybe not. If you didn't, if you didn't have that, like if it wasn't a pack-in, you wouldn't.
Playing Sega, like.
Right, you wouldn't have that memory attached to it if it wasn't a pack-in. It would just be another game that's like pretty okay, and arguably good. So I think B is fair. Let's stick with B on that. Okay, another one. I'm tired of talking about this game. I just did a real long video on talking about Legendary Axe 1 and 2. My thoughts are, I looked at this footage of this game and listened to every inch of it and, wrote about it. And, so my thoughts are easy to find if you want to go watch that video. But long and short of it is this, in my opinion, this is an S. This is, if I had a triple S or a double S, this would be there.
2?
Yeah. Legendary Axe 2. Yep. I say S.
I agree 1,000%.
I think it's about as close to perfect as you can realistically expect. I absolutely adore this game. And
For me, I'd say 2 is an A.
You say A? Okay. Why
A.
would you, what stops it from being an S for you? I'm curious.
Well, I mean, it's not perfect, right? Like, I feel like S is reserved for games that are like perfect, right? Gameplay wise. I think there's a little jank in Legendary Axe 2, but it is better than in my opinion. Well, I don't know. This might be an unpopular opinion. I personally like Legendary Axe 2 over Legendary Axe 1.
I do too.
A lot of people love, but I think we're in the minority.
Yeah, I think we are too.
Because a lot of people will tell you that they love Legendary Axe way better than they do Legendary Axe 1. I think we are very much in the minority, but I do think overall it's a better game graphically. I think gameplay is better, more straightforward. I don't know what's going on in 1 a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I think the music in 2 is good, but I don't know. I think there's still something missing in the gameplay department for me that still kind of, I think A is a good grade, but I don't know. I feel like it could have, I think if the controls were a bit more refined, it could have fit in that S category for me.
It's interesting you say that. I feel like the controls are real refined and responsive.
No, they're good, and they're better than 1, but that's why Golden Axe 1 is more of a B for me. If I'm
interesting.
Yeah.
Chuck, where are you at on this? What are you thinking?
This is one of my all-time favorite games ever. So it's S tier easily. Like, you know, if that and Air Zonk are my 2 probably top ever for Turbo. Yeah, I played this first before I played Legendary Axe 1, and I always felt Legendary Axe 1 looked like a downgrade from this. But that's a great game too. I'm not saying that that's not a good game.
Right.
Legendary Axe 2, the music, epic. The 3 weapon selections with the different tiers, epic. The smart bombs, a boss, the giant boss sprites, and
fills the whole screen.
And then I always like remember going, where do you fight the haunted doll? Was that Splatterhouse 3 or was that Legendary Axe 2? But yeah, I think both. But it just odd bosses, the giant snake, the snake level. Oh my god, the most frustrating level of the whole game, I think, besides the final.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it's S. What I'm really trying to say is S tier for me.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think we have to override DJ on this one and just.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
valid.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying
sure.
too, though. I mean, there's a touch of jank perhaps sometimes.
Yeah,
and I think especially.
Yeah, and when I'm thinking A, I'm really thinking like A plus. So like.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's for me, it's very much between an A and an S tier. I do really like it. I'm just. You know, I just feel like just a tiny bit more. It could have been in S tier, but I do like it. It's a great game.
I hear you. And you know the Hillary Clinton dolls on stage 4, I believe.
Oh right.
That's just absolutely
the Hillary
wild.
Clinton dolls.
That's just wild.
I didn't think about it. It totally looks like it. I didn't even think that image is stuck in my head now. I'm always going to think about that now every time I play that.
Oh, that's totally
Hillary Clinton dolls.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what they were trying to do, because she was relevant at this time. I don't think she was like as relevant, but
wow, I didn't even think about that.
Bill Clinton was a governor, I think, at the time, so she was still, she was out there, talking smack to the Chinese, and she was doing stuff. But yeah, I just think it's unavoidable to me. It's S. It's not maybe as strong of an S as perhaps Bonk's Revenge, but I think it's.
I believe it deserves that.
Yeah, and that intestinal tract level. There's so many games on the Turbo where there's like an intestinal tract level.
Yeah, it's like there's like polyps.
Like, yeah, there's like tonsils
with the fetuses. Oh my god.
Yeah. There's another one. What the hell's up with that?
What's up with that? Best.
Why are we always inside like an intestinal tract? But anyway.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. But if you think about it, if you're old enough to remember Legendary Axe, it might be old enough for you to get a colonoscopy.
That's fair.
There you go.
There's the connection.
Heard it here first, folks.
There's the connection.
I need to make an appointment. Thanks for reminding me. Okay.
Yeah, I got to get one of those next year. Darn it.
Oh man. Can't wait. Can't wait for that part of my life to start. All
Better
right.
get my axe and my morning star and my sword and be prepared.
Yeah.
My headband and my little panties. I'll be good to go.
Get in there. Get in there, Doc. Can't wait for that bill. All right, Legendary Axe 1, which I think we all agree is a step back, or a step down from 2, perhaps.
It's a B for me.
I would do B or A. I could go for either, but I'd say B.
I'm tempted to go A because I don't feel right putting it next to Keith Courage. I feel like it's like clearly
That's true. Then there you go.
it's clearly better than Keith Courage, right? I mean, it is.
I mean, I had fun with both of them, so for me, it's kind of like
That's a weird one. That's a hard one. We'll leave it at B for now because it's B plus sounds right, like a strong B. What do you?
Yeah, I'd say like a B plus for sure.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
teetering onto A. So
it's a shame I didn't make like 15 of these tiers.
I'd say like I'd say because Keith Courage for me is like a B minus.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's not like a. Because it's not the greatest game, but like I still think it belongs in the lower half of the Bs, where I think Golden Axe is probably on the upper side of the B for me.
Legendary Axe, you mean?
Yes. What did I say?
You said Golden Axe.
Oh my god, Legendary Axe.
Also a great game.
Golden Axe PC Engine, not good.
I love.
No, it is. Oof. Golden Axe on the PC Engine is.
Oh yeah, not the PC Engine.
Shit.
Yeah,
yeah, it is bad.
Also,
bad.
Also, Altered Beast, the Altered Beast version on PC Engine is like
also bad.
Not good.
Too.
Doesn't matter which version, HuCards, CD, they're both bad.
Which is weird to me because it's like on the Genesis, it's fine, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather play the Master System version over the freaking TurboGrafx version.
Right,
Oh God.
It plays better. The Master System one plays better.
There's no reason for that. That shouldn't be the case at all.
That's all just in how whoever programmed it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, moving on. Here's one that I think we all probably like quite a bit. New Adventure Island. This is this. Am I right? Where New Adventure Island, Wonder Boy, Monster World, like all these games are like connected in a weird way? Are they all connected?
This one though? Okay, so originally a company called Westone made the original Wonder Boy, right?
Okay.
And Westone would throughout the years make a bunch of games, and Sega would license them as Wonder Boy, and Nintendo would Hudson would license them as the Adventure Island games. But by the time they got to this game had nothing to do with Westone. It was all Hudson. But the connection is that Westone would be like, I make generic game. How much you buy generic game for? You know, and Sega will be like, oh, we'll buy it. And then Nintendo will buy it. It's like, okay, now we have to make them different for licensing reasons. But Sega owns the Wonder Boy name, and Hudson released it under a bunch of different things, right? Adventure Island, Dynastic Hero.
Yeah, Dynastic Hero. Yeah.
Oh, that's another one.
Curryman World. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the whole like confusion with that goes.
It's an absolute
one base
mess.
Developer made it, and then they sold it to different companies.
It sucks that happened because I think all those games are great. I like them all. Yeah. But the series is a mess. It's an absolute mess. Like I have no idea what order. I guess it doesn't matter what order you play them in. It's not like, we're talking about like a, narratively focused game or anything. But I wish it wasn't such a mess.
More continuity, then you would stick to the Sega iterations of the games if you're looking for like story continuity, because unfortunately on the Turbo and PC Engine it was a mess.
Yeah.
Because they made it a bunch of different things like Adventure Island, Bikuriman World, Monster Lair actually had the Wonder Boy name in Japan, which is freaking weird. And then what am I missing? Bikuriman World, Dynastic Hero.
And Dragon's Trap is Dragon's Curse.
And Dragon's Curse, Dragon's... confusingly enough, Dragon's Curse in Japan is called Adventure Island.
Oh, no.
So now it's even more confusing.
Jesus Christ.
What?
They did everything they could to muck it up, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Good gameplay, though.
Great. And, there's a remake of Dragon's Trap, or Dragon's Trap, the third one, Wonder Boy 3, right?
Yeah.
God, I can't even talk about it. But the remake from Dotemu, I want to say, or Lizard Cube, one of those two.
I think, Dynamute.
Yeah, they absolutely knocked it out of the park. What a great. That's the way to play the game, in my opinion.
So did you play Monster Boy, which is like the definitive sequel? They had to call it Monster Boy because Sega owns the Wonder Boy name.
Yeah,
but it is a true sequel because the director to the Wonder Boy games directed Monster Boy.
Oh.
And then there was a lot of compositions that were used in older Wonder Boy games.
Interesting.
So if you guys have a chance to play Monster Boy, it's great.
I think I do have. They released that on PS4, right? I think I have that.
PS4, Switch. It's excellent. Highly recommend. If you like those kind of games, it's like the true sequel to Dragon's Curse.
Yeah, it's a little more puzzle oriented though, if I remember correctly. Was that fair to say?
Yeah. Yes, there's a bit of puzzles in it, but it does throwbacks to all the Wonder Boys.
Okay.
Music wise, story wise, it's excellent.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, I love that series. I love that franchise, as much of a mess as it is. Every game I've played in that, there's one that came out on Genesis where you're playing a girl. I think her name's Alicia.
Asha,
yeah. That one's really good.
That's Monster World, Wonder Boy Monster World 4.
Almost feels
awesome
like
game. They remade that one too.
Right, and that I have that on PS4. Yeah, I love that, and that almost feels like kind of a precursor to Shantae, just like stylistically, kind of. Which is I love Shantae games. They're like that's my Metro. That's like the perfect balance of like difficulty, but like the amount of stuff to learn and do. Shantae's perfect. But anyway, what do you guys think about an A for Adventure Island? I think that makes sense.
I'm good with it. Yep. I'm good with an A.
All right, we'll stick it right there because it doesn't quite cross that boundary into S, but it's, you could argue, which one is that? Half Genie Hero?
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Seven Sirens.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. I have Seven Sirens. I don't think I've played Seven Sirens yet. I've had it for years. I loved Half Genie Hero so much.
Me too.
I ate that game up, dude. I have the soundtrack in my car. I still listen to it sometimes. I love that game.
The opening by Christina V is addicting.
It's perfect. It's a perfect Metroidvania.
Yeah.
And it's not overly convoluted like something like Axiom Verge or which I also liked. And what's the other one that I like, but it's a bit much to digest. I don't know. Anyway,
Half Genie Hero's pacing is really good. Really good pacing.
Okay. Yeah. So
this is what happens when a TurboGrafx fan buys a Switch and they just you just get cotton. East Orange.
East Origin's a great one.
You got to get that get that Valis collection, dude. That's on Switch.
You got Valis?
Yeah, man. I don't think they have 4's not on it for some reason, but I think it's 1, 2, and 3 if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the first one. The next one has Valis 4 though.
Okay, good. Yeah, I have it on Steam. They actually sent me a code for the Steam version. I have it on there, but
oh, nice.
It'd be neat to have that on PlayStation. I don't know why it's not on PlayStation. You'd think that'd be right up some of those PS guys' alley. Me, good example.
Yeah, that's weird.
Maybe one day, but it is on Switch and Steam, which is plenty, I suppose. So let's move on to Ninja Spirit, which I think I'm tempted to give an S. What do you all think?
Yeah, I'm not going to complain on that. That's 1,000% an S for me.
Yeah,
I
agree with that one.
It's like Legend of Hero Tonma, but better.
Way better.
And it's
a great game all around.
Also very similar to the arcade version. Actually, I think I might like it better than the arcade version. I do
too.
I think it looks better.
I always play. I feel like it's way more forgiving too because you started the default mode is like the PC Engine mode,
right?
Right. Yeah. You get like more lives and stuff. I 100% like the turbo version more than the arcade. And I think S is a good spot for it.
S is, yeah. And one thing it has that I really like, I don't know why, I just love it so much, is the sound test mode, which it displays in real time the audio channels, and you can sit there.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, right?
And you can watch, like watching an equalizer, like in real time.
Spacing out, yep.
And it's not like they're not just animated for show, like they're accurately doing what the music is doing. It's really neat.
Yeah.
You don't see that. I can't think of any other game that I've seen that. Maybe there are some that do it, but I can't think of any that do it.
Especially for 1989, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like
not every game even had sound test mode at that time. That was really more of a you know kind of a early mid 90s thing. That, you know,
let alone a visual one.
Yeah, with the equalizer and everything. That's just so neat. And of course,
now, how many of you have actually beat that final level falling down the very first time?
Not the very. It took me a while. I had to find.
I've never done it. It takes multiple, usually 10 plus.
It took me. I'm in that same boat. It took me many tries.
There is a lane when you're falling down that level. There is a lane, not all the way over to the left of the screen, but a little bit off from the left of the screen. If you find that little lane, you can just sit there and you can go down the whole thing and you won't get hit.
But it's getting there. That's usually what I aim for. But it's like usually 10 times or plus, I'm always hitting those first two ninjas, and it's just so kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
Just get them or twist away from them and then move your way left. But God, it's so satisfying when you beat that final boss.
Yeah, that's the only thing I kind of don't like about it is that the bosses, if you're fully upgraded or even like half-ass upgraded, you'll destroy these bosses. Like you'll destroy them in like less than a minute, usually.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that makes me kind of sort of tempted to knock it down to A. I'm not going to do it, but that's the only thing that like maybe would, little chink in the armor there perhaps, where, you know, I love the bosses so much. They're also different and they're very, you know, they're intimidating and they're cool, but, you know, you just annihilate them. You annihilate them so quick. So
dynamite is always a good friend. The dynamite bomb.
The dynamite, or really any of the weapons. If you've upgraded any of them, I would argue. I mean, you have to alter your strategy perhaps a little bit. You know, if it's like the sword versus the shurikens, but it can be done with pretty like low amount of effort, in my opinion. So that's the only thing where I'm kind of like, I wish they had maybe, you know, beefed up those bosses a little bit. But what a fantastic game.
Yeah, but overall. If you don't get there with any power-ups, that's just hard.
True. Yeah.
It is.
You know, so it's kind of like they probably don't expect you to get there with all your shit, you know, at high level, and because if you don't have those power-ups, then you'll be there forever.
Right. True. And
it just depends.
And it gives you unlimited continues, if I remember correctly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
if you're playing the PC Engine mode, you get unlimited continue.
That's what it is. Yeah, you can turn that off. You can go into arcade mode if you really want it to hand your ass to you, which it will. But yeah, that PC Engine mode is probably the way to do it because it's like, you know, as long as you stick with it, you can get through it. You know, if you got the time.
You want to know what's funny is I didn't like that game in the beginning. Oh. I wasn't a fan of it and I think I was just bitter because like my friends who had Turbo Duos got it packed in and I didn't, so I didn't have it. They were playing it and I was like, this game's not that good. You know, I had because I had bought the Super CD pack because I had the old TurboGrafx, right? So I had to buy the Super CD with Gate of Thunder, blah blah blah, and it didn't come with the HuCard. It just came with the Turbo Duo CD packings. So I was always bitter I didn't have Ninja Spirit, you know. So I was like, yeah, whatever, this game. Blah, blah. But then, like, when I gave it a good go, I'm like, man, this game is fucking good.
Yeah, it rules.
The game is really good. The bosses are big, you know. For a game that came out in 1989, they had some big bosses too. Like the very first boss you encounter is, you know,
massive,
a big. Yeah, he's the whole screen.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like really cool. And then when you beat it and it does that crazy pterodactyl shriek, you're like, wow.
Yeah, and it like your turbo kind of like dies for a second when the bosses are exploding because it's like it's kind of does what R-Type does, where it's like when the bosses explode, you don't even see them really, you just see like broken sprites for like a few seconds.
Yep. VRAM is like,
it's like
too much going on screen,
hanging on for dear life. But yeah, what a great game. And the music has a very authentic sort of feel. Like they simulate like the big, like, I don't know what you call them, but they're like almost like timpani drums that you hear sometimes in some of these older, like if you watch some old Japanese movies like Kurosawa films, you know, you'll hear these big drums that I don't know what they're called, but they're similar to like
the drums, kind of.
They're similar to what I would call like a timpani drum, but it's different and it has this sort of Asian, you know, feel to it. And those are in this game soundtrack. They're just simulated. And it's like it's a really you just hear the doom 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 doom. You know, you kind of hear like these big, and it's really creative the way they were able to get that across to, you know, someone like me who doesn't even really know what those drums are called, but I know because I've seen some, you know, Asian cinema and stuff, and so kudos to that game, man. I love that game so much. That's one of my favorite games of all time, for sure.
Yeah.
Unlike Pac-Land, which there are people that adore this game, and I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't like it.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either, but I don't really like it. I feel like it's a D. I don't know. What do y'all think? Like it's below average to me.
I had this one when I first had my TurboGrafx.
It's a C for
once
me.
Again, high nostalgia for it. Is it the greatest Control? No.
No, not at all.
I would say C or D. I would take either or. And I love Pac-Man. I love anything Pac-Man. I love the fact that this had the cartoon.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that cartoon. Maybe that's why it's a C for me.
You're basically playing as the Pac-Man from the cartoon, so that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
I wish there was a little bit better with the platforming and the enemies that kind of come at you, especially in the higher levels. It's fairly easy until you get about halfway through. And then you're repeating a lot of stuff too, so it's not as much variety. But God, I love the music, and I did love
Me too.
I really do it has a special place in my heart. But
yeah. I'll give you the
I would
music.
say C+, but that's just me.
For me, it's a C. I have very fond memories of it.
I'll give you that the music's
I used to play
good.
this in the arcade all the time. I think for me, like the heavy nostalgia puts it in a C for me.
Yeah, I'm with you to some extent because I love everything. I love Pac-Man so much. I love Pac-Man World. I love all like the spin-offs for the most part. I'm not a big fan of like the Ghostly Adventures or whatever the hell that one was. I didn't like that one. But I like almost every iteration of Pac-Man I've played. I love Namco in general, so like I'm there. The game doesn't work for me personally, but listening to guys, I mean, you know, it has, you know, it's got something to it. I don't know. I'll give it a C. We can put it with a C. I feel weird.
What did you say, DJC? What did DJC say?
He said C.
I said C+.
Oh, okay.
C+. That's just, I don't know about all that, but you know.
But once again, it's because I'm a huge fan of just Pac-Man in general.
Sure.
And I did play a lot of this, and I just remember once again, it's just more memory for me than it is maybe saying that the game was awesome, but the music does it for me too. I love the music. So
me too. It's like it's an earworm, you know.
Yeah.
That theme song. Yeah, that's the exact one.
It's so good.
And when you the death,
you had the princess or the queen at the end. It's like dun, 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 and it like does the little like the piano keys, like the high piano keys. I really C is fine.
I like I like the death music where it's like it plays the theme song and then there's like one off note at the end. It's like it breaks it right at the end. Okay, all right. I'm fine with C. It's fine. All right.
Oh, this next one. Oh, I love this next one.
This is a big one. Parasol Stars.
Oh my gosh. That's for
S tier
my favorites. Yeah.
You think S tier?
That's one of my favorites. I mean, I agree. I feel like not only is like one of the best Bubble Bobbles, but it's like one of the best of this type of game. And like
I think you're right.
One of the reasons why like I wanted to make a game like this is one of those games. This is so cool. Heavy inspiration on that is Parasol Stars. Love out of all the Bubble Bobbles, man, this one is like the one that I played the most, and it's super for me easy S tier. The music is great, the graphics are colorful, it feels like Bubble Bobbles should feel. I have too many good things to say about this, so I'll shut up because it's easy S tier for me.
It is what I think. When I look at Nyanja, I think he's making Parasol Stars with, you know, like you're very clearly
very similar.
By this one,
very similar. Yeah,
it's like
this and Snow Bros are like the main inspirations for Nyanja. So for me, this is like
maybe a little Don Doko Don in there, maybe.
Oh, maybe. Don Doko Don is one that I really wanted to like and kind of fell flat for me for like one of those title ones. I expected more, and it's kind of like, well, I mean, it's an older one, I guess.
It's just not as good as the other ones. You know, that's the thing.
Oh.
It's like
Yeah,
if Parasol Stars
is just like
it's the pinnacle.
It's one of the most epic games, the best memories, the best music, the best control. It's just it's the to this day I have to sit down and play this at least every other week or so. Like I just can't.
I'm the same. You know, I have to get to the end. I have to get to the, you know, the special like monster cave from the first game. You know, they throw there's like little musical like nods to the first game at the end of the game. It's just so good. It's so good. If you're a Bubble fan of any kind, this is just like
any of those single screen like platformers where you're knocking things out and then knocking them off the screen. You know, this introduces just enough extra on top of that too, like the elemental stuff. You know, there's like the fire and the electricity and the water, and they all do different things. And there's boss battles which are kind of fun. And
and the stages that like go from left, they pan like left to right.
Some of them
like,
actually scroll. Some of the bigger ones.
And the pirate ship and the forest level and a couple other things. You know?
It's just really there's no room for like complaints on this. It's just it's basically perfect, I would argue. Even if you're not a fan of that genre, which, you know, not everybody is, it's clear to see this is one of the better examples of that genre, if not the best.
Oh, yeah.
So we're in simpatico on that. Okay. Here's one that I think we may disagree on. Shadow of the Beast. I like this game. I feel weird. It's kind of almost like I would make a similar argument for it as I do to sort of Bravo Man, where it's like substantively I know the substance isn't there in a lot of ways, but style, man, the style just wins me over. I love the music. I love the graphics. I love how it's open-ended, even though a lot of the open-endedness doesn't really add up to much. I like how it does do that. I love the little cutscenes are in this that aren't in. I think.
Yeah, the cutscenes are super nice.
Yeah, and the Genesis version doesn't have them, and it was ported to like so many things. Like the Atari Lynx has a version of this game, which is actually pretty okay, like all things considered. And it's just I don't know, it's very TurboGrafx-16, even though I think it's really more of an Amiga style. It's more like Amiga coded.
It really is. It's like to me, it feels like one of those like Euro games as well.
It is.
Like
very
I'm fine
Euro.
where it's at right now. Like music is excellent. Music is great. Graphics are great, but like I don't know. Like I feel like the game plays like ass, kind of
like booty ass.
Like booty ass.
Yeah, the hit detection's a little funky.
I can't get in. The hit detection is wonky AF.
It is.
I don't know.
Chuck, what do you think?
I'm fine where it's at.
All right, let me do a little diatribe on this. So,
okay,
this is one of the games I purchased when I had my Duo, and I wanted to like it so much. The music, awesome. Probably one of the better soundtracks on the North American side.
Yep.
The animation, okay, he's running. It looked awesome. The cutscenes, absolutely amazing. The spiral staircase, really kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
When you're even the graphics of the enemies, so weird and cool and
detailed.
The game itself is awful. The gameplay is clunky as shit. You see these beautiful giant sprites and bugs come at you. What happens when you hit them? Click, and then they fall. Like it's just like the worst.
Yeah.
The worst type
if
of
you
game
make contact
I've ever experienced for a CD game when I was like expecting this just outlandish cool game. Now, once again, nostalgia factors there, so I don't want to give it a D. I want to keep it at a C, but it would be a D plus C minus level for me. And that's to me being generous because I had the game and when I hear the music, you know, it's just I love it, but the gameplay kills me. I don't think I barely got anywhere with this game for the most part. I get stuck. I don't understand stuff. It's really
it's just not fun.
I end up turning it off because I'm just not having fun. I know that may be a non-popular opinion, but
I think a lot of people have the same.
I'd say I'm more in the minority, I think, than you all are. I'd say you guys are more in line with the general consensus. I can't intellectually like disagree with you on any of that. Like I can't really say I don't. All I would say is if you're in the mindset of I don't really care where level 1 ends. I don't really care like if I've done it right, or if, I just want to explore a weird game and see weird stuff and be treated to some cool music and some cool atmosphere along the way. If you're in that mindset, which granted is a weird mindset to be in, but if you're in that mindset, I think it's fun. I have fun with it. I would give it probably a middle of the road B. You would give it like a low C. DJ, where are you at on it? What are you thinking? D, E. It's better than Impossible, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd say it's like a C minus.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
We'll leave
Maybe
it in
even
C.
a D, but like, yeah, I'd say it's a C minus. My issue with the game is I think it did so many things right. Graphically is very impressive. Like the beginning stage, there's like 72 levels of parallax there alone, and it's like, whoa! Like you go into it and you're thinking, oh shit, this is gonna rock my shit. And then you start playing it, and you're like,
it kind of falls apart. It falls apart in some ways.
Yeah, it falls apart quick, though.
If was a game, Clunky. If Clunky was a game, it would be Shadow of the Beast.
But looks like everything else looks beautiful, sounds beautiful. The cinematics are they're impressive. They're animated very nicely, super, super nice. I remember seeing it in magazines. I'm like, damn, this game looks badass, right? I'm like, this game's gonna freaking rock. And then you play it and you're like, but you don't notice it until you're like actually like down in the first area and you're killing stuff. You're like, this game plays kind of shitty.
Yeah, when it's me doing like the ladders and you're going down.
Yeah, and then everything
making the click 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 sound.
Yep. And you're like,
and like,
this is so cool. I still like it.
drop.
Yeah, you're forcing yourself to like it.
Yeah, you are. You're like telling yourself, nah, this game is cool. It's rad. Your friends saying, no, this game is boring. No, it's cool. Shut up. You don't know.
It's the best.
The music reminds me of like Tears for Fears. You ever listen to Tears for Fears? Like some other deep cuts. It reminds me of something you'd see on like the Elemental album, or one of their lesser known albums.
Great music.
Yeah, which I love. I just love it. I love it. So anyway, I
just feel that the gameplay was manageable. It would have easily could have been maybe an A for me if it had good gameplay, because everything else is a good package, but the gameplay is so bad that it dropped a couple grades for me.
That's fair.
But honestly, if the game played like Legendary Axe 2, that game would have been probably an A or an S. If it played, even if it played like Legendary Axe 1, I'd still put it in an A. But the gameplay is just bad. It's just not manageable.
It's like the Retron GX of games, sort of. It's like it has so many things.
Let's not be that harsh.
Like, well,
let's not be mean now.
I mean, it is a game.
It does work.
It does work.
I just mean in terms of like all the things around the edges, the peripheral things are good, are in fact great. But the core thing that matters most, arguably, not good.
Not as well.
So I would
Johnny's
say,
like, Hyperkin's watching. I better say nice things.
Dude, I tried. I'm fair, but I'm not gonna
blame it on us. That's what
I have to watch out for my own integrity at some point. All right, get out of here. I'm sorry, buddy. But yeah, I think C is fair for it, because it's like I can't put it down with Impossible. I can't do it. I won't do it. I won't even put it one level above Impossible. That's I don't feel right about that. So I think C is fair. That's fair. Okay, let's talk Shockman. This here's a whole nother can of worms. I'm
a huge fan of it.
Right.
So,
and it's really the sequel. It's actually a vastly improved sequel over the original Shabubi Man.
Yeah, I could see why the original Shubibin Man never came out here.
Yeah,
that one is booty ass.
I see it too.
Yeah, this one is definitely the playable one. But as much as I am a fan of this, because I'm a huge fan of this series, I love the character designer. She also worked on like Ranma on TV and like a bunch of other stuff, right? Love the music. This game has awesome chiptune music.
Excellent music. Yep.
Excellent music. But is it S tier? No, but no. I could put it in an A. I'd say like a A minus for me.
Yeah, I think a
But
soft A is probably fair. I lean
yeah,
more towards B, more like a strong B.
yeah,
Um,
that's why I said like a A minus for
it's
me on that,
Shockman.
and that's only for the nostalgia and the fact that I'm a huge fan. If I didn't have those things, it probably easily land in the like B plus
It's just got
for
a
me.
little too much jank for me to want to put it in A personally. It's not
Yeah,
I wouldn't call it like a particularly janky game, but I mean, I'm looking at the other games that are in A.
there are
Bonks,
some things that are weird in it.
yeah, and
And like I said, if it wasn't for me and the nostalgia factor and I like a lot of things about it, right? Like all the weeaboo aspect shit that I like about it. But if it wasn't for that, it would for sure be a B.
yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
just for
it's
me personally and my history with this game is why it's at an A minus.
yeah, I hear you. Chuck, where are you at with this one?
So this is one that I never got into. This and a little bit of history on me, and people are gonna think I'm crazy, but I never played any of the Mega Man games. I mean, other than trying them out a little bit, I was never into them, never played them, and maybe I missed out. I get it. Shockman for me, I played both the first one on the PC Engine, and then this is Turbo release too.
Yep.
And then I played them. I played them. They felt a little clunky to me, but once again I'm not familiar enough with the series to rate it and make it be like, oh, this is terrible just because I can't figure it out or I don't know what I'm supposed to really be doing. And I need a little more time to maybe make a decision like that. But all in all, it looks beautiful. It looks really cool. I know a ton of people love this. I would say
It's hard.
B. I would say
It's a
B
hard
for
game.
me,
Yeah.
to be fair. But that's only because I don't have as much experience playing it for hours. If I had maybe 2 hours into playing this over my lifetime, it'd be, saying something. So
Yeah, I think B is a good spot for it, to be
Yeah.
honest. And like I said, the only reason I would rank it higher is just because of like personal aspects that I really like about it. But
Right.
if I was to just look at it at just like the actual gameplay, for sure it would be a B for me. So
Yeah.
I think B is fair.
I think B is fair as well. I think I'm going to stick it on B. And I look at the games we have in A. Bonk's Adventure, Dragon's Curse, Tonma, Adventure Island. It is not as good as those games. I don't see it on that tier. And it's some people will describe it as sort of a poor man's Mega Man. I don't know if I'd call it that.
Yeah.
I think it's its own thing.
Yeah, it's its own thing, and it's
Because you have like shmup stages and stuff.
Yeah.
So like,
and you have a nice little story that's kind of cool. I like the little story.
Yeah.
I like the little gray. I forget the doppelgangers' names, but there's them and there's this alien race and there's a little bit of a story there, which is fun and it's not intrusive, but it's there if you want it. And it has 2-player co-op, which is nice to see. You don't see that on a lot of Turbo games. Bloody Wolf really should have had that. There's a lot of games that really should have had that didn't.
yeah.
And Shockman had it. And of course, if you view it in context,
Albeit kind of janky, but it did have it.
it's a little janky, but it works. For what it is. And I would say Shockman 3 is really that's the one that's really good.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's the one you want to play.
But it didn't come out in America, unfortunately. Apparently that one was on its way to get localized. It just, they abandoned it. I imagine probably because the Turbo
was already dying.
Yeah, it was like 1992. It was pretty clear. Like the writing was on the wall by that point. So
the cool thing is though that they're on the Nintendo Switch and it's got a collection and those all the things are subtitled in English.
Oh yeah, yep. I have the PS5 version of that. Yep, and it's
oh nice.
It's all you can play the third one translated and the first one translated, and it's great.
Which is
I have all three of them, and it's huge improvement over the original. It's just if I'm looking at the A's and the S's, it's just not in that. It's not in that league.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Which is fair.
Well, definitely not anywhere near an S.
No,
but
no.
I think B is fair. Like I said, I only rated an A minus because of personal aspects that I like about it. Like
sure,
character design and stuff like that.
Yep, and I would. I think I'm fine with it being a B. I think B is fair. Okay, so here's one I'm curious what you guys think of Ghost Manor, because I'm not a big fan of it. I
am not a fan of it.
It's another one.
It is a little frustrating little game. It looks very cool. I love the look of it, but it just
I love the
carry
look of
over
it too. I love the look of it. I love that first level, actually. The whole first level, I think, is neat. But once you get inside the mansion and like, it's like all of a sudden it just gets kind of bad. Like, I don't know. It didn't start off great. But when you go inside that mansion and there's like the Frankensteins and like the levels get real flat and uninteresting. I don't know what the hell happened. It's like they spent the whole time making that first level and then it just takes a nosedive and it never really recovers.
Yep. And the whole game is so samey.
Yeah, which I dig, but it just not enough substance. It really just doesn't come together for me. I'm tempted to give it an E. I hate to say it. I'm tempted to give it an E.
I would say definitely an E. That could go right next to Impossible.
Yeah. Like I feel like it's better than Impossible, but at the same time, I not nearly as good as Bravo Man. I think Bravo Man.
I'd say it's an E+.
E+, yeah.
I'd say Bravo Man is a gem compared to Ghost Manor.
Right. I'm trying to think of what's redeemable. Like the music's not even really all that good. It's kind of it's okay, but it's not very good.
Like visuals is probably the best thing the game has going for it.
Yeah,
which even then they're not even that great.
Yeah, they're not even that great, but they're at least kind of interesting in the beginning there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't get you very far when, the second level and on, I would say the visuals get really bland and
They do.
Kind of flat looking.
It all looks the same. Yep. It all looks the same. Exactly. And the gameplay is like, it's not a good game.
It's just not. It's actually, I would argue it's a bad game, which is a rarity on the Turbo.
No, it's a bad game.
Not the worst. I would say
Turbo's got a number of bad games, I would say.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, that Night Creatures game, I would argue, is maybe one of the worst. Which
oh my god,
maybe I could have maybe added that on here, but anyway.
Deep Blue
growing up.
Yeah, Deep Blue's not good. We could do this with shmups maybe sometime. But
for sure.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
That would all just be cool. It would all just be SNA.
You can see this.
Yeah, pretty much.
It'd just be SNA and then Deep Blue at E.
Deep Blue and an F.
So we've already we just did that episode. So there you go. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. That is true. Very easy.
Tiger Road.
Oh man.
Thoughts on Tiger Road? I feel like this is the epitome of average. I think it's a C. It's a soft C, perhaps, but a C nonetheless. What do y'all think?
I was gonna say A, but because of some of the clunky controls and the flying levels that we were kind of talking about earlier, I would say a B+. But I'd like it to be at a B, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean it's
give this one a B. I have some nostalgia for it as well. Maybe a B- for me. So
I do think it kind of does belong next to Shockman in a lot of ways. So I think
I'd say it's a.
We'll say
yeah,
B.
I think that's a good spot for it.
Yeah, that's
a B- for the record, but a B nonetheless. I think B is fair.
I agree with B-.
I like it. I enjoy it, but I always hit a brick wall with it about maybe 20 minutes in where I'm like, I'm over this game. Like I want to play something else.
It's easy to do that.
Yeah, it has some nice variety. There's like some platforming levels, and then there's like the flying level, and like I appreciate the effort, but none of those levels are particularly good. They're not bad, I guess, but they're not.
Not being able to jump down from platforms gets frustrating.
That's annoying. Yes, that's annoying, and it gets
climb all the way up to come back all the way back down.
Especially when there's a time limit and there's health pickups that don't do what you intuitively think they should do, and there's that one level or that one weapon sucks.
I was gonna say the weapons, man. You only want like one or two, and then the one you're like, oh, you accidentally land on, and
you could make an argument for that axe because it's like sort of. Excuse me, buddy. Let me fix you up here. Sorry, this.
Yeah, that's that like little stick. I'm like, what is that a weapon?
What the hell is that?
Like if he's poking someone, like
I think
like Biff from Back to the Future. Hello.
It's like it looks like a marching band baton, sort of like.
Yeah.
But like, why is that there? That sucks. That weapon sucks.
It wasn't well thought out.
No, and so yeah, I feel like a C is probably, I don't know. It could go B-, so it's fine. Not a great game. Don't particularly recommend it unless you just want to explore sort of the less traveled corners of the library. You're not going to like regret playing it, but after, I would say, if you make it past like the half-hour mark playing that game, you're in a pretty small minority at that point, I would argue.
I mean, if people own that, they must be crazy.
All right.
Now that I think about it, maybe.
I want to put it in C.
Maybe you're right.
Can I put it in C?
Maybe you're right. Yeah.
C, that's fine.
It wasn't until DJC started pointing out, like, the not being able to jump between planes, and then I remember how pissed off I was.
Blowing up alone. I wanted.
Yeah, and then I was like, I was thinking about that, and thinking about how pissed off I was with that. So I'm like, it does do some things pretty badly.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. I think it's average.
It's average.
Yeah, I think C is good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and there's a weird thing. Maybe this is just me, but when you die and it plays that like that little death music, that's like 10,000 times too loud. Am I?
Oh, it is. Yes, you're right. It's super loud.
Yeah.
Why? Okay.
It makes you angry. It's like an angry music.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to play this in the middle of the night. I'm trying not to wake up my parents, and it's just like I'm like, fuck, man.
Like, shit.
Like that meme from the A Quiet Place where the old man like screams. It's like that. But instead of that, it's instead of the the world ending, it's me waking up my parents. So that's a C. A fairly solid C, but a C nonetheless. I think that's where we're at with it. Now, I'm only including one Valis game on here because I feel like Valis 3 is probably the best Valis game, and I think it's certainly the best one that came to the Turbo. And I think I'm just kind of let it be sort of the representative of those 4 games. Is that fair, you think?
Yeah, I've really started playing these a lot lately on some of my Turbo shows and some other just streams in general. I'm kind of just starting to get into these a lot, and I played them here and there back in the day, but I never owned a chip or a CD of these, and I really like it. I'm kind of learning a little bit what you got to do and what it's about, but I really like it. I mean, I think I've done 1, 2, and 3. I'm kind of jumping between them all.
3 and 4 are the best.
3 is the better one. I may have to focus maybe more on that.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, all good. The only one that's not so great is 2.
Yeah, 2's
the one that kind of
2's not
kind of bad. But the remake of 1 on Super City is freaking rad, and then 4 is great too, and 3 is good. Like,
what was the original? What did it originally show up on? The first one, was it just
on
PC?
Yeah, it was on the PC-88 and then like MSX and stuff. And
was it like on the Sharp?
Then there was a Famicom one.
Oh, really? Okay,
and,
I didn't know it was on the Famicom.
Yeah, it sucks, dude.
Yeah,
the Famicom sucks so hard. But the PC Engine has a remake of one on Super CD called Valis: The Phantasm Soldier.
Yeah,
and that one is excellent. Excellent game. Absolutely love that game.
I like 3. I think I don't know. I'm kind of torn between 3 and 4, but I like 3 because 3 you actually play, the main girl, whereas 4 she's not really in it. She's like ascended to godhood or whatever.
She's like a god or whatever.
And the second one where you pick different characters, is that what the second one's about?
No, the second one you're still using the main girl. It's in 3. The one with the one that's on here with Peggy Bundy on the cover. That's the one that. Look at her! Doesn't it looks like Katie Seagal, right? Katie Seagal. But with like metal cone boob things.
I like the like robotic Madonna kind of thing.
Yeah.
Chrome Madonna.
But I'm enjoying the games that I've played so far. I don't know. For me, I guess I would throw that in a B+ for me.
Yeah. For me, Valis 3, I have so much nostalgia for Valis 3 and going to get it, and my mom's like transmission exploding on the freeway, and me not giving a shit because I had my game. And dude, I went home and played this game, and the cutscenes are just so good. The music is like, I like and the game's got jank. It's not perfect. There is some jank, but it is very serviceable game. if you loved anime, like I was a huge anime fan in the 90s, you know, crazy about anime. So like to me this is an A, but that's another thing like with Shockman where it has the aesthetics that I like that kind of push it up for me.
Yep.
But like gameplay wise, you know, it's probably more of a B for most people. You know, for me, because of just my overall taste, I put it in an A minus for me.
Yeah, I think that's an accurate way to view it. I think your nostalgia might be pushing it up a little bit, but it
right.
I would say it's a very strong B. It's a B plus for sure, I would argue. I wouldn't quite put it in A because I'm looking, you know, Bonk's Adventure, Dragon's Curse, New Adventure Island. I don't think it's quite on that level gameplay wise, but it is, you know, very good. I really do enjoy Valis 3 and 4. I think they're both interchangeably good. You could play either one. You'll like them both a lot. I think
Valis 3 has one stage that's bullshit. It's like bullshit hard. But other than that one stage, like the rest of the game is completely playable. And up until that part, I don't know if any of you have played through it and you get to the water temple. Fuck the water temple. That place sucks. But
I know what
the rest of the game, it's an excellent game. It's just this one like really bullshit area of the game. Like the game is awesome.
I was always asking people, I'm like, what's that game? It's like Sailor Moon and Strider mixed together.
Yeah.
I'm like,
hey, that's a good way.
It's like a girl in a skirt with like dyed hair, but she's kind of got that swipe, you know, and they're like, yeah. I'm like, why do I always forget the name? So then that's when I started getting into it a little bit more.
That's fair. Yeah, it is kind of like that. It's like if they made a good Sailor Moon game, it would be like a Valis game.
Right.
Yeah.
They're good though. I like them. Like I said, 2 is the only weak link on the Turbo is 2. And even 2 is not absolutely terrible. Like 2 is still like
it's not trash.
C minus, you know. It's average below. It's slightly below average, I would say. I would put 2 as a C minus, but like for me, Valis 3 is definitely like an A minus. But if I wasn't looking at all the aesthetic weeaboo anime shit that I like, I would put it in a B probably, just because it does have that like jankiness.
Yeah, I feel good about it being in B. It's a strong B though, you know. Certainly a B plus.
What did DJC say? What did you say?
Oh yeah, Chuck, what do you think?
I said a B plus.
Okay,
yeah.
Just from my experience with a few of the games I've been recently playing too of Valis, I've enjoyed them because like I never really knew much about them, and now that I'm getting into them, I'm starting to enjoy them. But I'm also still kind of discovering it. But yeah, so far I think they're freaking awesome. So
hey, check out Phantasm Soldier on the Super.
Yeah, I will actually.
Yeah, that one's awesome.
Yeah, 1, 3, and 4. You can't. I mean, they're all great. They're all great. And really, like Saru said, like 2 really isn't bad. It's just clearly not as good as the other ones. So so
it's just the weakest link of all. But it's not a bad game.
Right. Exactly. All right, one more Euro janky kind of Amiga coded game here. Turrican.
Turrican.
I'm not a huge. There's one Turrican.
I'm fine where that's at right now.
I think so too.
Gonna say the same.
I think so too. It has potential. I like the
average at best.
There's a couple little things that I like about it. I like the tone of it, even though a lot of those Amiga style European games I kind of don't like the tone, but I like the tone of Turrican for some reason. Something about it does click with me. I like the little rotation fire chain thing. That's kind of neat. I don't use it very often, but it's cool. But it's just got this this unfinished kind of feel where like enemies just kind of run through you and your health goes down, but you're like the character doesn't react.
And you can't do anything about it. Like you're just kind of standing there.
Yeah, if you want a good Turrican game, play the ones on the Genesis or even the one on Super Nintendo. I feel like is pretty okay.
Turrican,
yeah, or Mega Turrican and Super Turrican are pretty good. Like those are games I would maybe give like a strong B or maybe a soft A. But this one, it's kind of, again, it's sort of like Tiger Road, where it's like, it's just sort of right there in the middle. It's like not horrible, but it's not really very good.
It's not a terrible game. It's still playable.
And the music's neat. It's got some neat music that will like, not as good as some of the other games, of course, but it's like pretty okay music that I like. You know, it feels like it was handled well coming over to the PC Engine.
But graphics aren't bad. You see a good amount of animation.
Yep.
It's just overall, it's just not that. It's nothing to write home about, but it's not terrible.
No. Yeah, it was one of the first. It was in that initial batch of games that my dad got when he brought the Turbo home, and I remember thinking, okay, this is one I'm probably not going to play much, because I just didn't. It just doesn't hook you in very well. It's like you can appreciate some things, and then some things will annoy you, but at the end of the day, your overall opinion is just going to be like, I'm ready to play Splatterhouse or something else. I'm ready to play something better.
All three of us might just be the wrong audience for this game, though. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Like you just said, I feel like if you were like a Euro baby and you grew up with like these kind of games, then you would probably put this maybe at a B.
Yeah. It's European. It's aimed at the European audience for sure. It's got like water droplets that hurt you and stuff. Like Shadow of the Beast.
Why is that like the signature thing?
I don't know.
In these Euro fetus games, right? They have these water droplets that hurt you.
It's like, it looks like water, but it hurts you just as much as like a dragon would or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't realize that until GameSack. They pointed that out. Like in some video he did years and years ago, he pointed that out. It was like, all these Euro games have water droplets that hurt you for some reason. And I was like, damn, he's right. He's absolutely right. They all have it.
Onto something.
And it makes no sense. Anyway, so there's our tier list, gentlemen. There it is. Those are the platformers. There may be one or two missing, but from as much as I could tell, that's about it.
Man, really?
Yeah.
Is that all that came out here on the Turbo?
Again, I can't swear by it, but this is.
I mean, I'm having a hard time trying to think of anymore. You might be right. Or
the only other one that maybe you could argue would be on there would be like maybe Splatterhouse, but it's not. I don't know. It's not really a platformer. It just has some jumping in it.
I mean, the Tactical Gladiator does a lot of walking and sliding. Just saying.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I didn't think about that one.
It's mostly a jumpy shooter at best.
I so rarely think about that game in general.
V's kind of has like
cover and a cool idea, vibes. And then you play it and it's so hard to play. But
I don't like that one.
I don't want the box. I still want it completed box. I don't know. I just love the look of it.
Have fun with that.
Yeah, I know, right? It's too much money, right?
It's just for that game. It's like, God, it's just going to sit on the shelf,
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which, if that's what you're going for, then, Godspeed.
No, I probably should. But yeah, I'm trying to get all the North American Turbo eventually, but it's going to just be it's going to hurt a lot every time I buy one.
It is. Yeah. But that's part of the price you pay, for going down this wild road that we're all on. I already have Dead Moon, but I bought one with the cardboard box the other day for, I think, $170 after shipping.
I mean, that's not, with the way prices are going now, that's not bad.
It was an auction, so I was just one of those guys who was like, in the last 5 seconds, I was like, okay, I'll just do it. And if you were to go buy it, like straight up buy it, you'd spend like 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah.
So, in that respect, I guess it's a deal, but it's like, God, I could have made a dent in my mortgage instead. But anyway. So I'm happy with this tier list. What do y'all think? Are we all sort of in agreement? This is pretty fair?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal.
Looks pretty good. I'm curious what the comments are going to say.
I think we're doing our best to be fair. If somebody has a strong disagreement, feel free to let us know. But
they're going to be like, impossible and E.
Impossible? How are you not like Impossible?
If we're only pissing off Impossible and Ghost Manor fans, then,
Yeah. I'm kidding. I really didn't think we would hate on Ghost Manor quite that much. But after, I think it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, at least it's not my cup of tea for sure.
No.
Not mine.
No.
You know what game we missed that we didn't miss is a Darkwing Duck.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
I mean, you can put that shit right in the trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. I forgot about that.
That shit's an E for sure.
Yeah, that would have been an E. That would have been an easy E.
Yep. We don't have to bring it up. That's what it is. Darkwing Duck, E.
E. There it is. So if you were in the middle of writing that comment, you can erase it.
Yeah.
Or just leave a different comment.
If you were, they're going to be like, "What about Darkwing Duck?" It's an E for ew.
All right, so let's go around and let's give our final thoughts. Just how the TurboGrafx.
We forgot Tailspin too. Now that I think about it, there's no Tailspin on here either.
Tailspin's a shooter, really, isn't it?
Is it? No, I thought the Turbo one was like an action game.
You're in like a plane.
I think you're thinking the NES one. You're in a plane.
Am I?
I think the Turbo one. It's an action game. Water hurts you. Yeah, you're Baloo and you're running around.
Wow. Okay.
It's also an E though, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
Also shit.
Why was I thinking maybe I've played that Sunday Afternoon collection, I think.
Oh, that's Capcom. The good Tailspin game.
Yeah, that's
Capcom made that one. That one's the one that's worth playing.
Right. Yeah, that's what I associate with Tailspin. I think of that version. I don't think of the different one.
You want to play some bad games, man? Play Darkwing Duck on the TurboGrafx.
The AVGN video pretty much sums it up. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I've never seen it, but that game is like the definition of booty ass.
Yeah, and it was in stark contrast to what Capcom was doing with those properties. If they could have just Capcom really didn't do much with the Turbo.
Gotten Darkwing Duck, the Capcom one on Turbo with like TurboGrafx, you know, fuck.
Yeah,
that would have been awesome.
It would have ran well too, because that was it was an NES game.
Sure. It could have ran the same and just had better colors, and I would have been happy with that.
They could have just done what they did with Jackie Chan and just jazzed it up.
Yes. Yeah. That would have been so cool. So we got whatever the shit we got.
Whatever the one got.
I don't even know. You might be better off looking because you're good at like researching stuff, Johnny. But I don't. Who the hell developed that game? Because it says TTI, but I don't believe they developed it. So
I don't recall. What do we think about how the Turbo handled platformers in general? Like, I'm looking at this list now. I'm seeing we have more games on the C tier than on the S or the A. Now, when you combine S and A, it's way more, I guess. Maybe that's a better way to look at it. But, it's kind of all over the map, I guess. Although, in general, they're all either average or above. There's very few that are below average. Yeah. So I guess that's my main takeaway is they're not all, like, star-studded, 10 out of 10 games. But almost all of them are average or above. And I think that's my main takeaway from the way the system handles platformers. What do you all think? Final thoughts, Sarumaru, DJ, what do you think?
Well, I think that seeing how many are in the S, A, and B categories, clearly there's a lot better games than there are bad games. And think about that, we're only including the North American HuCards. You know what I mean? Like if we were including all HuCards, this list, we probably have way more A's and B's up here too.
Yep,
so
for sure.
Being that this is only limited to, the platformers that came out here, it's pretty good that most of them and only 2 of them ended up in the E tier. Well, 4 if we want to count like Darkwing Duck and whatever other
still a very small minority.
Yeah. It's good that the majority of them are good. So I think it's good. I think it's good that most of them are play above average.
Right. Yeah. Not as consistent.
The S tier alone is epic. I mean, imagine you're sitting down to recommend Turbo games. Your friend's never seen the TurboGrafx. You're like, we're going to play Bonk's Revenge, Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu. Then we're going to get a little bit of Ninja Spirit and Legendary Axe 2. And how about a co-op of Parasol Stars? That is a night. That is an epic night right there.
That's an epic couple of nights.
Yeah.
That's like an epic weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
With a decent variety.
Altogether are just, those are such good games.
Yeah. And there's room for flexibility here. Like, there are people who would probably argue, Legendary Axe is A tier, or Bonk's Adventure, you could argue is S tier. I might not argue that. We didn't come to those conclusions, but there's definitely some room for flexibility here. Like, I don't consider this gospel, but some people would probably consider Dragon's Curse S tier. I think that's not crazy if they were to say that. No. Or I'm guarantee you there's somebody watching this right now that thinks Legendary Axe is S tier, and it's crazy that we gave it a B.
Oh, for sure.
I guarantee
For
you.
sure. Yeah. They're probably
there's
going
a
to be
lot
like,
of people.
man, what the
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
for sure.
I'll take the
I'm sure we're
engagement.
going to get
fans here.
I'll take the engagement. Go ahead and give me
because there's
the.
a lot of people who are like that's like the holy Bible for them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like for TurboGrafx.
People love Legendary
and
Axe. There's people who just
I'm
adore it.
surprised that we were all kind of on the same page with that one. I kind of felt like someone was going to be like, no, that's got to be S tier, but it
Yeah.
seems like we're all kind of on the same page with Legendary Axe 2.
Yeah.
Just being the better game.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
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 I
I feel like someone's gonna be like, y'all a bunch of idiots.
That's fair. That's fair.
Legendary Axe 2. But I mean, that's just, it's gonna come down to what your preferences are too.
Right.
I guess.
I mean,
And also the nostalgia level too. You know what I mean? Because DJC said he played 2 first. I didn't play. I played the first one first, and I just didn't like it. And then I played the second one. I was like, "Oh shit, this is a good game." So it really is different perspectives too. If you play 2 first and then go back to 1, you're like, "The fuck is this shit?" You know what I mean? But if you play the first one, right? You play the first one, and you're like, "Oh wow, this is awesome."
Yeah.
And maybe I just didn't, because I didn't play it like during the heyday, because I didn't get my Turbo until '91. Is when I got my Turbo, and I didn't get CD stuff till like 92. But if I had played in 1989, who knows what my opinion would have been. Maybe
Right.
I would have been like, and that, I think that's a big nostalgia factor for a lot of people. They played it when that came out in 89, and they're like, this was freaking amazing. You're crazy. But, like, I don't have that nostalgia for it like they do. So I think that's how we landed on that.
Yep. And there's different experiences lead to different tastes. And, there's some people only had a couple Turbo games the whole time they played the system. They only had Ghost Manor and Bravo Man, and they think those games are awesome. And that's fine,
Right.
It's sad, but it's fine if you think that, So Chuck, what do you think? What are your kind of final thoughts here on how the Turbo handled this genre overall?
I always say this every time is I wish they would have made better choices bringing PC Engine titles over to North America for the Turbo.
Oh yeah.
But what we have, and when, like I said, and you look at S and A right there, even in the B, like all those games are fantastic games and games that most people revere as some of the greats. Obviously the shooters are really where it's at on this, and the RPGs and stuff like that. But for the platformers we got, there's 2 or 3 kind of garbage ones, and the rest are really damn good. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah,
I hear you. And another genre that the Turbo really is sort of underrated for is puzzle games. I think there's some fantastic, like Clax, and that's probably my favorite version of Clax, I would argue. And even like weird ones like Time Ball, it's kind of fun. But anyway,
that Buster Bros. What would Buster Bros be like?
I don't know.
That'd be like a puzzle. It's
a puzzle game, right?
Yeah, I guess.
One screen.
It's so timing based that I struggle to call it a puzzle game, but I guess it kind of is. I don't know. It's not a platformer though.
How to categorize that one? Yeah, I'm like, how do you categorize it?
I don't know. It's one of those oddball games, I guess.
It's not really like a one-screen arcade game like Parasol Stars or Bubble Bobble.
I would say it's adjacent to that, perhaps, but not.
Yeah,
supposed to move if you were a person shooting bubbles.
Yeah,
kind of
are anyway. So it's kind of like
it's in kind of a weird category of its own, maybe. I don't know. But in any case, obviously, feel free to check out Sarumaru's channel. He just hit 5,000 subs, which is really cool. Woo! Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And the Game On content was cool. Obviously, check out Saru's weekly show. I think you're still doing it every week at this point, right?
I do, yep. Every Saturday night.
Fun show. I don't catch it as often as I'd like because you start it
It's
when
late.
I'm getting ready for bed and your show is starting.
It's like midnight for you. So.
Yeah. So sometimes I'll stick around if I happen to be up late, but often it's just too late for my old ass.
Yeah, I get it.
But it's a fun show. I enjoy it when I do watch it. It's legitimately like one of my favorite YouTube streams to watch, for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I would say the same thing about DJC. He does these streams where, he'll play the heck out of, 2 or 3 games and, maybe it's Impossible, maybe it's Ninja Spirit, maybe it's in television. A wide range there, but that's a fun stream as well. And I like your little your cutaways, like the hot dog man is always good. I enjoy.
Oh yeah, they're starting to get out of control, especially during my one show. It's like everybody will just try to throw a tip or throw something. Oh, we want to see the hot dog. We want to see the taco guy. They have a creepy guy that says, did somebody say tacos? I'm dressed up in a taco thing with my hair down.
It's kind of disturbing. I'll be honest.
My channel is the most disturbing channel on YouTube because people come and they're like, it's not like in television. I like TurboGrafx. What is this? Why are there weird characters and foxes and wolves and hot dog people and he's dancing around like a wiener? Like it's just we go off the rails here and there, but we have fun. We have a lot of fun.
I like Hot Dog Man. He's my favorite. You know what this means? This means you have a closet or a box somewhere that has all these costumes in it.
Dude, it's literally I have 2 totes and a sofa down here in the studio and right now, there's everything scattered because I was just recording some stuff. So there's you can see a taco costume, a couple of fox mask, a mask that looks like a butt. There's a shark costume over here. There's a Santa Claus costume, and then a couple Hawaiian shirts. People, when they come down here, are like, "Are you out of your mind? What do you do down here?"
That's something that I think about sometimes when I watch this. I'm like, if he God forbid, if something were to happen to you and you were to suddenly pass away. And and somebody has to go through all this crap.
You're like, whoa,
what kind of freaky shit happened?
There's nowhere to go. Oh, it's because of these games and these people, and then we do the streams, and it's the whole YouTube and stuff.
But if you're not there to explain it,
he was into weird shit over here.
Yeah, like if you're not there to explain it, then they're just gonna be like, "Do I burn this? What do I do?"
I should write a letter like, "If you find crazy shit in my,
just give the hot dog suit to my cousin."
They're gonna be like, "Sure, buddy."
So anyway, another great episode in the books. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Obviously, check out their channels, and I think next episode, we're gonna maybe dive into Irem games. So thanks for watching, and have a good one.
Peace.
Hey, if you liked that episode of House of HuCards and would like to help ensure that I can continue producing it, feel free to become a channel member, and you'll also get the episodes early. Also, be sure to interact with the episode somehow, because that lets the algorithm know that you'll like it. But no matter what you do, I appreciate you watching. Thank you.